through penalty goals by Rowan Mills for a 24-0 half-time lead. Blake then scored again, with Catalans unable to compete on their travels. Elsewhere, into tennis, Ukraine's Alina Svitolina upset world number 4 Coco Gauff to set up a final against Jessica Pegula at the Dubai Tennis Championships. American Pegula was the first to win her semi-final, fighting back from a disastrous opening set and break of serve in the second to defeat compatriot Amanda Anisimova 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. Gauff had a chance to make it an All-American final, but Svitolina recorded a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4 in an epic encounter that lasted over 3 hours. Elsewhere in boxing, Britain's Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing organisation to join Dana White's Zuffa Boxing promotional company. The 29-year-old had been in Matchroom since turning professional and beat long-term rival Chris Eubank back in November. In a statement on Instagram, Bensley was filled with excitement and hunger, but he has been criticised for the conduct in which he left Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Elsewhere, into football, Yuki Oshihashi's headed goal deep into stoppage time snatched a vital 3 points for Blackburn in their fight for Championship survival as they beat Lancashire rivals Preston in Michael O'Neill's first home game as Rovers boss. He came off the bench to apply the winning touch from Erin Cashin's deep cross in the last 5 of added minutes at Ewood Park in a match that seemed destined to end goalless. Elsewhere, Igor Tudor said he's 100% convinced they will avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs are 16th in the table, only 5 points above third bottom West Ham, with 12 games remaining. Elsewhere, in other news of football, Neymar, the Brazilian striker, said he is considering retirement at the end of the year. The 34-year-old, whose £200 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the highest paid for a player, has been blighted by injuries in recent seasons, but he hopes to play for his country in the World Cup this summer. He rejoined his boyhood club Santos from Al Hilal in January. He's had an injury-hampered first year, but he's hoping to push on. But he says he doesn't know what the future holds after the end of this year. Elsewhere then, into news in cricket, and England limited overs captain Harry Brooks said it would be a shame if Pakistan players were excluded from playing in the 100 this year. Reports suggest that Pakistan players are not being considered by the 4 Indian-owned sides for the auction, which will take place on the 11th and 12th of March. Brook insists he hopes that everyone can involve to bolster the competition. That's all then for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in Super League, and St Helens gave new coach Paul Rowley his first Super League win in a hectic, breathless encounter with Lee Leopards at the Brewdog Stadium. They've now been out 2018 winners. Lee, after beating Leeds Rivals in the opener last week, twice led, but in the end couldn't get over the line. Saints have won the game despite losing Janelle Lomax to a broken arm. It was a real battle on home soil. Leeds responded from their opening round defeat with a comfortable 46-14 win over York Knights. They took them a harsh lesson in their newly promoted campaign, but Bradford got a win on the board. And they marked their first Super League home match for 12 years with an emphatic 28-10 win over Catalans, with tries from Andy Eckers, Waka Blake and Caleb Akins added to by 3 penalty goals by Rowan Mills for a 24-0 half-time lead. Blake then scored again, with Catalans unable to compete on their travels. Elsewhere, into tennis, Ukraine's Alina Svitolina upset world number 4 Coco Gauff to set up a final against Jessica Pegula at the Dubai Tennis Championships. American Pegula was the first to win her semi-final, fighting back from a disastrous opening set and break of serve in the second to defeat compatriot Amanda Anisimova 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. Gauff had a chance to make it an All-American final, but Svitolina recorded a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4 in an epic encounter that lasted over 3 hours. Elsewhere in boxing, Britain's Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing organisation to join Dana White's Zuffa Boxing promotional company. The 29-year-old had been in Matchroom since turning professional and beat long-term rival Chris Eubank back in November. In a statement on Instagram, Bensley was filled with excitement and hunger, but he has been criticised for the conduct in which he left Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Elsewhere, into football, Yuki Oshihashi's headed goal deep into stoppage time snatched a vital 3 points for Blackburn in their fight for Championship survival as they beat Lancashire rivals Preston in Michael O'Neill's first home game as Rovers boss. He came off the bench to apply the winning touch from Erin Cashin's deep cross in the last 5 of added minutes at Ewood Park in a match that seemed destined to end goalless. Elsewhere, Igor Tudor said he's 100% convinced they will avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs are 16th in the table, only 5 points above third bottom West Ham, with 12 games remaining. Elsewhere, in other news of football, Neymar, the Brazilian striker, said he is considering retirement at the end of the year. The 34-year-old, whose £200 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the highest paid for a player, has been blighted by injuries in recent seasons, but he hopes to play play for his country in the World Cup this summer. He rejoined his boyhood club Santos from Al Hilal in January. He's had an injury-hampered first year, but he's hoping to push on. But he says he doesn't know what the future holds after the end of this year. Elsewhere then, into news in cricket, and England limited overs captain Harry Brooks said it would be a shame if Pakistan players were excluded from playing in the 100 this year. Reports suggest that Pakistan players are not being considered by the 4 Indian-owned sides for the auction, which will take place on the 11th and 12th of March. Brook insists he hopes that everyone can involve to bolster the competition. That's all then for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in Super League, and St Helens gave new coach Paul Rowley his first Super League win in a hectic, breathless encounter with Lee Leopards at the Brewdog Stadium as they ran out 2018 winners. Lee, after beating Leeds Rivals in the opener last week, twice led, but in the end couldn't get over the line. Saints have won the game despite losing John Lomax to a broken arm. It was a real battle on home soil. Leeds responded from their opening round defeat with a comfortable 46-14 win over York Knights. They took them a harsh lesson in their newly promoted campaign, but Bradford got a win on the board. And they marked their first Super League home match for 12 years with an emphatic 28-10 win over Catalans, with tries from Andy Eckers, Wacker Blake and Caleb Akins added to by 3 penalty goals by Rowan Mills for a 24-0 half-time lead. Blake then scored again, with Catalans unable to compete on their travels. Elsewhere, into tennis, Ukraine's Elina Svitolina upset world number 4 Coco Gauff to set up a final against Jessica Pegula at the Dubai Tennis Championships. American Pegula was the first to win her semi-final, fighting back from a disastrous opening set and break of serve in the second to defeat compatriot Amanda Anisimova 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. Gauff had a chance to make it an All-American final, but Svitolina recorded a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4 in an epic encounter that lasted over 3 hours. Elsewhere in boxing, Britain's Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing organisation to join Dana White's Zuffa Boxing promotional company. The 29-year-old had been in Matchroom since turning professional and beat long-term rival Chris Eubank back in November. In a statement on Instagram, Benn said he was filled with excitement and hunger, but he has been criticised for the conduct in which he left Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Elsewhere, into football, Yuki Oshashi's headed goal deep into stoppage time snatched a vital 3 points for Blackburn in their fight for Championship survival as they beat Lancashire rivals Preston in Michael O'Neill's first home game as Rovers boss. He came off the bench to apply the winning touch from Erin Cashin's deep cross in the last 5 of added minutes at Ewood Park in a match that seemed destined to end goalless. Elsewhere, Igor Tudor said he's 100% convinced they will avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs are 16th in the table, only 5 points above third bottom West Ham, with 12 games remaining. Elsewhere, in other news of football, Neymar, the Brazilian striker, said he is considering retirement at the end of the year. The 34-year-old, whose £200 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the highest paid for a player, has been blighted by injuries in recent seasons, but he hopes to play for his country in the World Cup this summer. He rejoined his boyhood club Santos from Al Hilal in January. He's had an injury-hampered first year, but he's hoping to push on. But he says he doesn't know what the future holds after the end of this year. Elsewhere then, into news in cricket, and England limited overs captain Harry Brooks said it would be a shame if Pakistan players were excluded from playing in the 100 this year. Reports suggest that Pakistan players are not being considered by the 4 Indian-owned sides for the auction, which will take place on the 11th and 12th of March. Brook insists he hopes that everyone can involve to bolster the competition. That's all then for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in Super League, and St Helens gave new coach Paul Rowley his first Super League win in a hectic, breathless encounter with Lee Leopards at the Brewdog Stadium as they ran out 2018 winners. Lee, after beating Leeds Rivals in the opener last week, twice led, but in the end couldn't get over the line. Saints have won the game despite losing John Lomax to a broken arm. It was a real battle on home soil. Leeds responded from their opening round defeat with a comfortable 46-14 win over York Knights. They took them a harsh lesson in their newly promoted campaign, but Bradford got a win on the board. And they marked their first Super League home match for 12 years with an emphatic 28-10 win over Catalans, with tries from Andy Eckers, Wacker Blake and Caleb Akins added to by 3 penalty goals by Rowan Mills for a 24-0 half-time lead. Blake then scored again, with Catalans unable to compete on their travels. Elsewhere, into tennis, Ukraine's Alina Svitolina upset world number 4 Coco Gauff to set up a final against Jessica Pegula at the Dubai Tennis Championships. American Pegula was the first to win her semi-final, fighting back from a disastrous opening set and break of serve in the second to defeat compatriot Amanda Anisimova 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. Gauff had a chance to make it an All-American final, but Svitolina recorded a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4 in an epic encounter that lasted over 3 hours. Elsewhere in boxing, Britain's Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing organisation to join Dana White's Zuffa Boxing promotional company. The 29-year-old had been in Matchroom since turning professional and beat long-term rival Chris Eubank back in November. In a statement on Instagram, Bensley was filled with excitement and hunger, but he has been criticised for the conduct in which he left Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Elsewhere, into football, Yuki Oshashi's headed goal deep into stoppage time snatched a vital 3 points for Blackburn in their fight for Championship survival as they beat Lancashire rivals Preston in Michael O'Neill's first home game as Rovers boss. He came off the bench to apply the winning touch from Erin Cashin's deep cross in the last 5 of added minutes at Ewood Park in a match that seemed destined to end goalless. Elsewhere, Igor Tudor said he's 100% convinced they will avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs are 16th in the table, only 5 points above third bottom West Ham, with 12 games remaining. Elsewhere, in other news of football, Neymar, the Brazilian striker, says he's considering retirement at the end of the year. The 34-year-old, whose £200 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the highest paid for a player has been blighted by injuries in recent seasons, but he hopes to play for his country in the World Cup this summer. He rejoined his boyhood club Santos from Al Hilal in January. He's had an injury-hampered first year, but he's hoping to push on. But he says he doesn't know what the future holds after the end of this year. Elsewhere then, into news in cricket, and England limited overs captain Harry Brooks said it would be a shame if Pakistan players were excluded from playing in the 100 this year. Reports suggest that Pakistan players are not being considered by the 4 Indian-owned sides for the auction, which will take place on the 11th and 12th of March. Brook insists he hopes that everyone can involve to bolster the competition. That's all then for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in Super League, and St Helens gave new coach Paul Rowley his first Super League win in a hectic, breathless encounter with Lee Leopards at the Brewdog Stadium as they ran out 2018 winners. Lee, after beating Leeds Rivals in the opener last week, twice led, but in the end couldn't get over the line. Saints never won the game despite losing Janelle Lomax to a broken arm. It was a real battle on home soil. Leeds responded from their opening round defeat with a comfortable 46-14 win over York Knights. They topped them a harsh Lesham in their newly promoted campaign, but Bradford got a win on the board. And they marked their first Super League home match for 12 years with an emphatic 28-10 win over Catalans, with tries from Andy Eckers, Wacker Blake and Caleb Akins added to by 3 penalty goals by Rowan Mills for a 24-0 half-time lead. Blake then scored again, with Catalans unable to compete on their travels. Elsewhere, into tennis, Ukraine's Alina Svitolina upset world number 4 Coco Gauff to set up a final against Jessica Pegula at the Dubai Tennis Championships. American Pegula was the first to win her semi-final, fighting back from a disastrous opening set and break of serve in the second to defeat compatriot Amanda Anisimova 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. Gauff had a chance to make it an All-American final, but Svitolina recorded a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4 in an epic encounter that lasted over 3 hours. Elsewhere in boxing, Britain's Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing organisation to join Dana White's Zuffa Boxing promotional company. The 29-year-old had been in Matchroom since turning professional and beat long-term rival Chris Eubank back in November. In a statement on Instagram, Bensley was filled with excitement and hunger, but he has been criticised for the conduct in which he left Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Elsewhere, into football, Yuki Oshashi's headed goal deep into stoppage time snatched a vital 3 points for Blackburn in their fight for Championship survival as they beat Lancashire rivals Preston in Michael O'Neill's first home game as Rovers boss. He came off the bench to apply the winning touch from Erin Cashin's deep cross in the last 5 of added minutes at Ewood Park in a match that seemed destined to end goalless. Elsewhere, Igor Tudor said he's 100% convinced they will avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs are 16th in the table, only 5 points above third bottom West Ham, with 12 games remaining. Elsewhere, in other news of football, Neymar, the Brazilian striker, said he's considering retirement at the end of the year. The 34-year-old, whose £200 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the highest paid for a player, has been blighted by injuries in recent seasons, but he hopes to play for his country in the World Cup this summer. He rejoined his boyhood club Santos from Al Hilal in January. He's had an injury-hampered first year, but he's hoping to push on. But he says he doesn't know what the future holds after the end of this year. Elsewhere then, into news in cricket, and England limited overs captain Harry Brooks said it would be a shame if Pakistan players were excluded from playing in the 100 this year. Reports suggest that Pakistan players are not being considered by the four Indian-owned sides for the auction, which will take place on the 11th and 12th of March. Brook insists he hopes that everyone can involve to bolster the competition. That's all then for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in Super League, and St Helens gave new coach Paul Rowley his first Super League win in a hectic, breathless encounter with Lee Leopards at the Brewdog Stadium as they were out 2018 winners. Lee, after beating Leeds Rivals in the opener last week, twice led, but in the end couldn't get over the line. Saints have won the game despite losing Johnny Lomax to a broken arm. It was a real battle on home soil. Leeds responded from their opening round defeat with a comfortable 46-14 win over York Knights. They took the harsh Lesham in their newly promoted campaign, but Bradford got a win on the board, and they marked their first Super League home match for 12 years with an emphatic 28-10 win over Catalans, with tries from Andy Eckers, Wacker Blake and Caleb Akins added to by 3 penalty goals by Rowan Mills for a 24-0 half-time lead. Blake then scored again, with Catalans unable to compete on their travels. Elsewhere, into tennis, Ukraine's Alina Svitolina upset world number 4 Coco Gauff to set up a final against Jessica Pegula at the Dubai Tennis Championships. American Pegula was the first to win her semi-final, fighting back from a disastrous opening set and break of serve in the second to defeat compatriot Amanda Anisimova 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. Gauff had a chance to make it an All-American final, but Svitolina recorded a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4 in an epic encounter that lasted over 3 hours. Elsewhere in boxing, Britain's Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing organisation to join Dana White's Zuffa Boxing promotional company. The 29-year-old had been in Matchroom since turning professional and beat long-term rival Chris Eubank back in November. In a statement on Instagram, Bensley was filled with excitement and hunger, but he has been criticised for the conduct in which he left Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Elsewhere, into football, Yuki Oshashi's headed goal deep into stoppage time snatched a vital 3 points for Blackburn in their fight for Championship survival as they beat Lancashire rivals Preston in Michael O'Neill's first home game as Rovers boss. He came off the bench to apply the winning touch from Erin Cashin's deep cross in the last 5 of added minutes at Ewood Park in a match that seemed destined to end goalless. Elsewhere, Igor Tudor said he's 100% convinced they will avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs are 16th in the table, only 5 points above third bottom West Ham, with 12 games remaining. Elsewhere, in other news of football, Neymar, the Brazilian striker, said he is considering retirement at the end of the year. The 34-year-old, whose £200 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the highest paid for a player who has been blighted by injuries in recent seasons, but he hopes to play for his country in the World Cup this summer. He rejoined his boyhood club Santos from Al Hilal in January. He's had an injury-hampered first year, but he's hoping to push on. But he says he doesn't know what the future holds after the end of this year. Elsewhere then, into news in cricket, and England limited overs captain Harry Brooks said it would be a shame if Pakistan players were excluded from playing in the 100 this year. Reports suggest that Pakistan players are not being considered by the four Indian-owned sides for the auction, which will take place on the 11th and 12th of March. Brook insists he hopes that everyone can involve to bolster the competition. That's all then for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in Super League, and St Helens gave new coach Paul Rowley his first Super League win in a hectic, breathless encounter with Lee Leopards at the Brewdog Stadium as they were out 2018 winners. Lee, after beating Leeds Rivals in the opener last week, twice led, but in the end couldn't get over the line. Saints have won the game despite losing Johnny Lomax to a broken arm. It was a real battle on home soil. Leeds responded from their opening round defeat with a comfortable 46-14 win over York Knights. They took the harsh Lesham in their newly promoted campaign, but Bradford got a win on the board, and they marked their first Super League home match for 12 years with an emphatic 28-10 win over Catalans, with tries from Andy Eckers, Wacker Blake and Caleb Akins added to by 3 penalty goals by Rowan Mills for a 24-0 half-time lead. Blake then scored again, with Catalans unable to compete on their travels. Elsewhere, into tennis, Ukraine's Alina Svitolina upset world number 4 Coco Gauff to set up a final against Jessica Pegula at the Dubai Tennis Championships. American Pegula was the first to win her semi-final, fighting back from a disastrous opening set and break of serve in the second to defeat compatriot Amanda Anisimova 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. Goff had a chance to make it an All-American final, but Svitolina recorded a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4 in an epic encounter that lasted over 3 hours. Elsewhere in boxing, Britain's Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing organisation to join Dana White's Zuffa Boxing Promotional Company. The 29-year-old had been in Matchroom since turning professional and beat long-term rival Chris Eubank back in November. In a statement on Instagram, Bensley was filled with excitement and hunger. He has been criticised for the conduct in which he left Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Elsewhere, into football, Yuki Oshashi's headed goal deep into stoppage time snatched a vital 3 points for Blackburn in their fight for Championship survival as they beat Lancashire rivals Preston in Michael O'Neill's first home game as Rovers boss. He came off the bench to apply the winning touch from Erin Cashin's deep cross in the last 5 of added minutes at Ewood Park in a match that seemed destined to end goalless. Elsewhere, Igor Tudor said he's 100% convinced they will avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs are 16th in the table, only 5 points above third bottom West Ham, with 12 games remaining. Elsewhere, in other news of football, Neymar, the Brazilian striker, said he is considering retirement at the end of the year. The 34-year-old, whose £200 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the highest paid for a player who's been blighted by injuries in recent seasons. But he hopes to play for his country in the World Cup this summer. He rejoined his boyhood club Santos from Al Hilal in January. He's had an injury-hampered first year, but he's hoping to push on. He says he doesn't know what the future holds after the end of this year.
And Burnley, the home side, are just about to get us underway, and indeed they do, with a pass back to Robert Sanchez, which he will launch forward into the other end of the field. It's myself, Luke Ashurst, alongside me is Simon Barlow to take you through all of the action of the 90 minutes. And Simon, I think we're both expecting at least two teams that are going to give it a go, because if Burnley are ever going to get points, now really is the time to get them. And, well, Chelsea are in a pretty decent position to move themselves firmly inside the European places at the start of the weekend.
Yeah, it's a good time for Chelsea to be playing, isn't it? Ahead of all the rivals, really, the main European rivals. Likewise, you could say Burnley. Their task is obviously a little bit harder. They're away from home, and the situation for them is looking increasingly bleak. They've missed some chances to take points in recent games, and maybe belief starting to ebb away. But if they start the game well, they could put some pressure on Chelsea, get the crowd on the home crowd on the Blues' backs, and who knows what might happen.
Yeah, they won the last league game, did Burnley, coming into this one, a 3-2 victory against Crystal Palace, but a defeat against League One Mansfield at the weekend in the FA Cup really put a dampener on the mood around Turf Moor. That win against Crystal Palace was their first in the league since October, when they won back-to-back games against Leeds and Wolves. Since then, they've only mustered that one victory, coming a couple of weeks ago. But they face a Chelsea side today who are under a little bit of pressure. As, early on, Zian Fleming is absolutely flattened Moises Caicedo there off the ball. Referee waves advantage. Our referee this afternoon is Lewis Smith. As the ball's been knocked around the Chelsea back four. We'll run you through the lineups in a moment or so. Right now it is the Blues in possession, who come into this one off the back of a comfortable victory against Hull City in the FA Cup last weekend. They've lost just the one game so far in the last 9, and they've won 8 of 11 under new manager Liam Rosenior. which is a better record than I think most Chelsea fans would let you believe, to be brutally honest. I think a lot of Chelsea fans would tell you that they've been pretty poor under Rosenior. Don't think that's overly helped by the way that they crashed out of the Carabao Cup in the semi-finals against Arsenal. But when I've seen them under Liam Rosenior and during this season, I've been entertained. I haven't always thought they're a world-beating side, but I've certainly been entertained. That's a good interception from Enzo Fernandez in midfield. It's a good bit of play from João Pedro just to lay the ball off to André Santos. Here's Pedro Neto now down the left-hand side. Ball in towards Cole Palmer. He's cut out well by Joe Worrell. And the former Nottingham Forest man will get clear down the far end of the field. And Chalobah should just get this one back to Robert Sanchez. Fofana's there to mop up the loose pass. It does give me a chance to run you through the lineups. For Chelsea, it's Robert Sanchez in goal. Back four of Gusto, Chalobah, Fofana and Reece James. Midfield two of Santos and Caicedo, with Neto, Fernandez and Palmer supporting João Pedro up front. I'll break off because here come Chelsea in the attack, and there's the first goal. It's into the back of the net, and it's João Pedro with it. One ball through the middle finds its way to Pedro Neto on the left-hand side, and with plenty of green grass in front of him, he plays a beautiful ball into João Pedro, who could not miss from there. 3 minutes gone, Chelsea 1, Burnley 0.
Yeah. It's been an interesting reign, hasn't it, from Liam Rosenior so far? But that is a great start to this game. You know, far too much space and time afforded to Caicedo in midfield. He's played a fantastic ball, 60 yards potentially, or maybe 50, splitting the Burnley defence. Neto's on the end of it, takes it in stride, gets a great ball into the back post, and he slides in there with the goalkeeper, and I think Maxime Esteve as well, but he just wants it more, does João Pedro. Just seeing the ball again. You know, nobody putting pressure on the ball. You know, Mejbri and Ogachukwu just standing off in midfield. It's a fantastic threaded ball through, and then he just has the desire to get on the end of that slide rule cross from Neto to make it 1-0.
It's a world-class ball from Moises Caicedo, but it is worth mentioning Joe Worrell is starting just his third Premier League game all season. He's 3 yards behind everybody else in the back five. He's played Pedro Neto onside there, and yes, the midfield should do better to put pressure on Caicedo. A player of his quality is always going to pick out somebody who's a good few yards onside because one of the centre-halves is too far back. The initial touch from João Pedro takes it onto his left leg with his right boot, and it's almost kept out by Martin Dubravka, but the momentum just takes him into the goal. VAR are just having a look to see whether there's a foul from João Pedro as the ball is bundled into the back of the net, but there never was one from the Brazilian forward, and rightly so, the goal is given. But there are just so many problems up and down the pitch there for Burnley.
Yeah, they just weren't at it, were they? You know, Caicedo's dropped into a great position. That's where the problem occurs, and nobody's there to stop the pass. And then, you know, the back three are on. You know, the back line are on. They're just so far off it there, and Neto's got a great ball in. You know, there's just world-class players in this Chelsea team. And okay, Rosenior he's had an interesting reign so far. You know, there were some selections that were criticised early on in his reign. He kind of rectified that with his substitutions, though, and they tended to finish games strongly. Okay, they couldn't get past Arsenal in that semi-final, which is a little bit of a blot on his copybook, and there was the Leeds game as well. Perhaps they should have won it if Cole Palmer had his shooting boots on, but you know, this team has got world-class players, and Rosenior has seemingly got them into a kind of a system now where they can score some great goals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 10th league goal of the season for João Pedro. It matches his best ever tally in the Premier League. Last season he got those 10 Premier League goals. He's won off his best ever league campaign. He scored 11 for Watford in the Championship in 22-23. I'm almost certain he will get an 11th goal in the Premier League this season. I'm almost certain he'll get a 12th and 13th as well. But we'll have to wait and see whether they come this afternoon or not. I will run you through the Burnley lineup in a moment. Obviously, I was about to bring you it before Chelsea scored. But here they come now down the left-hand side with Hannibal. Cuts in on his right boot. He's going to have a strike towards goal. I don't mind it from Hannibal. The space opened up. It was far too easy for him to cut in on his right boot. And there was space on the near side that Robert Sanchez had vacated. But he doesn't quite catch it the way you would like, the Tunisian, and it's straight into the hands of Chelsea's shot stopper. And Robert Sanchez has taken too long, I think, with the ball in his hand.
Oh,
I think he's given a corner here, the referee, because Robert Sanchez has taken longer than 8 seconds. That's really poor from the goalkeeper. Funnily enough, Martin Dubravka, the Burnley goalkeeper, was the first goalkeeper in the league to do that this season. He did it in the opening day against Tottenham, and now Robert Sanchez has joined him in a goalkeeper that's been caught out by the referee.
Yeah, well, some referees, they count down from 8, and then the last 3 seconds they actually show the fingers, don't they, to the keeper, 3, 2, 1. I don't know whether this referee did, as the corner comes in.
Yeah, corner swung to the back post. Ogachukwu with the effort with the outside of his right boot over the crossbar and out of play for a goal kick. Really poor from Chelsea there, just allow the back post to be occupied completely unmarked by their former player in Leslie Ogachukwu. And unfortunately for the Frenchman, he couldn't quite catch it and get it on target, but it's not a bad effort at all. I will quickly now run you through the Burnley lineup. It's Martin Dubravka in goal for the Clarets, a back three of Esteve, Worrell and Laurent, midfield four of Humphreys, Medjbury, Ogachukwu and Walker, with Anthony and Edwards supporting Fleming up front. 2 former Chelsea players in the side for Burnley this afternoon. Leslie Ogachukwu and Bashir Humphreys both came through the academy at Stamford Bridge, as Caicedo's got a bit of an issue here with Zian Fleming in the middle of the park. It's the second time he's been brought down off the ball, Moises Caicedo, by the former Millwall striker, and he's just had a word with the Dutchman on this occasion, saying, I'm not going to have this. Now, I'm actually quite impressed with Moises Caicedo, because normally after the first one he's squaring up and getting himself into a bit of bother, but only on this second occasion has he had words with Zian Fleming. Chelsea will be hoping he can keep his head throughout the rest of the game, because he has had his disciplinary problems this season, has the Ecuadorian.
Well, in this formation it looks like Zian Fleming has got to mark Caicedo. He's got to stop him from getting on the ball and playing the sort of passes which he did for the opening goal, so maybe we can already point the finger at Fleming for not playing a part in stopping that Chelsea opener. He's obviously more determined now to stop Caicedo getting on the ball, and he's doing it by fair means and foul.
Yeah, absolutely. Ball at the feet now of Cole Palmer. Just moves it square to Caicedo, back for Fofana, who'll move it onto the right hand side for Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez then feeds James, he found himself in a right midfield position momentarily. Here's Andre Santos, nice ball forward for Gustos, took narrow to gather possession. Now it's Pedro Neto, he's right boot, laid off to Cole Palmer, who's in really good form at the moment, returning from injury. Enzo Fernandez picks the ball up edge of the penalty, a left-footed strike, never looked comfortable. He knows he shouldn't have taken that shot on Enzo Fernandez, but on his left boot he goes for goal, almost trying to loft it over Dubravka without any backlift. In the end he's lofted it way over the crossbar in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the option was to play it right to the waiting Reece James, and he had a look at him and then just decided, he wanted to take a shot himself there, but he got it all wrong on his weaker left foot, and it sailed over the bar.
A couple of other games being played at the Premier League this afternoon that kicked off at 3 o'clock along with ours. Aston Villa host Leeds in a big game towards the top end of the table, and I suppose the bottom as well, with Leeds mildly still threatened by relegation. And there's also a pretty decent mid-table clash as well between Brentford and Brighton. Brentford, of course, chasing Europe this season. Brighton looking to try and recover from disappointing game against Liverpool last time out. James Milner has broken the all-time Premier League appearance record, though, this afternoon by starting against the Bees. So a bit of history being made in the Premier League this afternoon. There's also a number of other games being played in the Championship as well. I'll try and keep you updated with, in particular, the games in the Premier League, both of which are available on this service, as well as some of the bigger games in the Championship as well. I can see that Wrexham lead Ipswich by a goal to nil early on in that one. But our focus remains at the game at Stamford Bridge. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. 10.5 minutes gone. It's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. That early goal from Joao Pedro, the difference between the two sides at the moment. But since that goal, it's been relatively evenly matched so far. Neither side looking like they're overly comfortable in the way they're playing and in control of this one. But Chelsea have had the lion's share of possession so far, and here they are now with Malo Gusto over on the far side. It's going to step into Burnley territory before laying it off to Pedro Neto. Here it is now with Andre Santos into the centre circle for Caicedo, back left to the Brazilian. Now Gusto, Santos once more to the near side for Fofana. Fofana down the line for Reece James. Burnley have every single player behind the ball at the moment, as Chelsea are forced all the way back to Robert Sanchez after the pressure from Zian Fleming. Marcus Edwards will look to step up to try and cover off some passing lanes as Caicedo receives the ball back off the Spanish goalkeeper.
Yeah, Burnley keeping quite a narrow front three there, trying to cut off those passing lanes to the midfield. But it just means that Chelsea have to go a little bit wider earlier.
Yeah, and they've worked it well. Here's Cole Palmer past a couple, and his strike towards goal is blocked well by Kyle Walker. Far too easy for Palmer to get away from a couple in claret there. They're just so slow in midfield at the minute, Burnley. And Palmer gets lucky after the ricochet, after the challenge from Joe Worrell, who was having a really torrid time at the moment. In the end, Kyle Walker bails the centre-half out.
Yeah, Worrell's missed the tackle there, isn't it, really? You know, he's trying to stand up in a tackle with Palmer, and he should not be letting Palmer get past him there, but once he does, then he's really struggling, and he needs his teammates to bail him out. Reece
James to swing this corner in over on the far side. Right-footed in swing it from the Chelsea captain. I assume it'll be chipped towards the near post like it normally is from Reece James, and indeed it is. It's headed away well in the end by Fleming, and out of play for a Chelsea throw over on the far side. It's I don't envy Chelsea fans having to watch that corner kick routine week in, week out. Reece James does it every single week where he just chips it to the near post. I've seen it work twice, but that's not been through good work from Chelsea. That's been from errors from the opposition. And it just feels like they kind of rely on it every single week from those corners over on the left-hand side. But on this occasion for Reece James, it doesn't quite work out. Still, though, Chelsea will come forward. Pedro Neto's got it on the near side now, on his stronger left foot. We'll lay it off to Andre Santos. Santos looking for Caicedo. He's challenged well from behind there by Hannibal. And in the end, Burnley can get it cleared down the near side. And I believe no, that has gone out for a Burnley throw. I thought maybe that had gone out for a Chelsea throw, and Jayden Anthony made a mistake letting it run. But it is indeed going to be a Burnley throw. And as the camera pans to Scott Parker, who of course spent a decent amount of time at Chelsea as a player, didn't he? Before moving on to the likes of Fulham. He's one of those managers who I've always been a big fan of, but I can never quite put my finger on why. And every time he gets a decent job in the Premier League, he doesn't seem to do as well as maybe I would expect. He's not done. Burnley have been a little bit disappointed this season, it has to be said, although today they've looked relatively resolute outside of the goal, as Marcus Edwards has just given away a free kick deep in Chelsea territory. But
well, I mean, he's done no worse than Vincent Kompany, and he got the Bayern Munich job off the back of getting relegated by Burnley, so maybe he's hoping for something similar.
I think the problem is with Scott Parker this season, with Burnley this season, is at least the last time they were in the Premier League, while everybody was very critical of Vincent Kompany, you knew how Burnley wanted to play. I was not going to be able to tell you going into this game how Burnley were set up to play and how they were going to go for it, because I've seen them really go for games, like against Crystal Palace. They committed bodies forward. Bashir Humphreys very much played as a wing back in that game and got down the left hand side really well. But this afternoon, he's very much played as a left back in a back five, and it's been very tame. And I just think, surely at this stage of the season, you've got to go for it. And maybe that's a bit of naivety and a bit of fear from Scott Parker, that actually he'd rather lose a game 1-0 against the top of the table side than go for it and maybe get a couple of points, a few points, sorry, and risk maybe losing by a few goals. But they're trying to come forward here now, Burnley, with Bashir Humphreys, although he's given the ball away. Hannibal then puts a good challenge in on the near side to put the ball out of play for a throw-in. We then get our first look at Liam Rossigna this afternoon from the cameraman. As I said earlier on, I've been very, very impressed by his side since he's come in, and the record tells you he's done very well. 8 wins from 11 is not a bad record by any stretch of the imagination. But Chelsea fans will tell you they're still not happy with the appointment, which I don't really understand, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably gradually turning some of them around. They're just used to big name managers, aren't they? You know, they've had big name managers for quite a few years now. Obviously, Maresca was probably a little bit of a departure from that, but you know, even Chelsea fans didn't take to Maresca, did they? He delivered them European trophy last year and got them into the Champions League. So you know, he's done his job, but then he's still midway through this season. So you know, I think sometimes the Chelsea fans need to realise that, you know, the days of big name managers ruling the roost are gone, and now it's a different system. There's 4 sporting directors. You know, they're in charge basically, and the coach is just the coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Ball swung into the penalty area by Gusto. It's headed away well by Kyle Walker. Still, will Chelsea come forward. It's Reece James down the near side, away from Bashir Humphreys. Crossing to the box is cut out brilliantly by Maxime Esteve. And out for a corner on the near side. That's a superb block from the Frenchman, because that looks a dangerous ball in from Reece James, and if he doesn't get there, Joao Pedro was lurking. Although having said that, Joao Pedro has refused to get goal side of the defender there, so maybe he could have let that run through to Joe Worrell. But either way, an important intervention nonetheless from the Burnley number 5, and a chance now from the corner from the near side. And it'll be Pedro Neto to swing this one in. Left-footed in swinger on the Chelsea right. He sent Gusto in towards the near post. Raises his right arm. Will float this one towards the 6-yard box. It's headed away well by Josh Laurent. Finds its way to Caicedo. Caicedo fires it onto the near side for Neto. Neto, can he get the ball in once again? No, he'll go back to Palmer. Palmer, left boot, strikes towards goal. And that's been deflected brilliantly out of play for another corner. It's Maxime Esteve again, who's been very, very involved in the opening 17 minutes or so. Brilliant effort from Palmer. That's a great block from Esteve.
Yeah, it was going in. Palmer's strike seems to be heading for the bottom corner. I think maybe the keeper might have had it covered, but Esteve just threw his body in the way and got a decent header behind for this corner.
Yeah, another opportunity for Pedro Neto to swing a ball in. Again, it's towards the 6-yard box, putting Dubravka under pressure. Again, it will be headed away, this time though by Joe Worrell. And an opportunity for Chelsea to restart on the edge of the penalty area. Palmer, ball over onto the far side, finds Fernandez. Fernandez back into the centre circle for Caicedo. Blue seem to want to be patient now and take their time over it and try and reshuffle Burnley. As let's just play a 1-2-3-4 between Caicedo, Santos and Fernandez. Here is though Andre Santos. He's off to Trevor Chalobah now with Caicedo. Caicedo then will feed Fofana. Fofana now back to Caicedo again. And to the former Leicester City centre half, who did very well to salvage a point against Stoke in one of the 12:30 kickoffs in the Championship, but they very much look threatened by relegation at the moment. Leicester City?
They won.
Did they win in the end? I missed the late winner. That's a huge win in the end for the Foxes, as West Brom fell to another defeat. So that's a poor pass forward there from Enzo Fernandez, and Chelsea have given the ball away over on the far side, and the ball can be comfortably cleared in the end by Kyle Walker, who seems to be interchanging with Josh Laurent as to who's playing at right wing back and who's playing at right centre half. At the minute it's Kyle Walker who's taking up that position in the back three.
Oh no, you're right, it was 2-2.
It was 2-2. I knew they'd got the point.
Stoke got the lead equaliser.
That was it. I mean, it's still... it's still an okay result for Leicester, but they're very, very much under pressure at the bottom end of the Championship table. As Gusto's done well to take the ball away from Marcus Edwards in our game over on the far side. Eventually the ball finds its way all the way back to Robert Sanchez, who will put Fofana under a bit of pressure there with that pass. He's done well to get it down the near side, but not properly away from danger. Here's Humphreys. Edge of the penalty area now for Hannibal. Hannibal linking up with Marcus Edwards, who gives the ball away far too cheaply. Now maybe a Chelsea counter-attack as the ball is spread over to Pedro Neto on the far side. Here comes the Chelsea winger. Wants it on his right boot as he's one-on-one with Kyle Walker. Goes onto his left, then onto his right. Going sideways though at the minute, the Portuguese international will lay it off to Malo Gusto. Gusto now feeds Fernandez. Back to Gusto once more. Burnley now once again have every single player behind the ball. And I think at this stage of the game, Chelsea will be more than happy to maybe stretch the legs a little bit on the counter-attack before just coming back and just keeping a hold of the ball.
I think they're just trying to work out a way of playing against this low block. You know, when they retreat into their own half, the Clarets, they are definitely just trying to clog up the passing lanes with the front three dropping quite deep. As you mentioned, the wing backs are playing like extra full-back, so it's like a back five. Out of possession, it's like a 5-2-3, isn't it? So Chelsea's got to work out how to get the ball into those wide areas to their full-backs pushed up high, with the insurance of at least a midfielder dropping in, and then you can move the ball into a good area in that final third, which they've done here with Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, they've worked it brilliantly well. Here's Enzo Fernandez, 20 yards away from goal, right hand side of the penalty area. Lays it off to Reece James. Now here's Wesley Fofana. Credit to Burnley, they saw the space open up for Fernandez and they very quickly closed it off and got everybody behind the ball again, but they're awfully deep at the moment. Scott Parker's side, 20 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Blues are on the attack down the near side. Here's Fernandez, feeds Palmer. Palmer trying to get away there from Esteve. Good challenge comes in though from the Frenchman. Just as I say that, and I think Burnley can maybe hold on to the ball for a second. They give the ball away through Jayden Anthony. Here is Andre Santos now. Onto the halfway line for Chalobah. Feeds Fofana. Fofana down the line for Fernandez. Fernandez, his options left and right. We'll just move it back into the centre circle for Chalobah. Now here's Andre Santos. Squared up by Marcus Edwards. He still finds a way to get the ball to Gusto. Gusto trying to get away from the Burnley number 10. Does well there, Malo Gusto. Ball to the edge of the penalty area for Joao Pedro. Felt he was fouled there from behind, and he then fouls Leslie Ugachukwu. And I tell you what, he got a bit of a claim here, I think, against Joe Worrell, because that ball gets fed into him, and I think he would quite like to turn the former Nottingham Forest and Besiktas centre-half. But Worrell's got both arms round him, and that's a free kick. That's a poor decision in the end from our referee, Lewis Smith, who I think will probably look back at that and wish he'd given a foul. Yeah,
Worrell's struggling in this game, isn't he? He doesn't look as though he can really handle the movement or the pace of the Chelsea attacking line. And if they can get him isolated with any of the Chelsea strikers, then he's going to give fouls away because he just can't handle it.
So, big day for Lewis Smith. I've only just noticed this. I thought I didn't necessarily recognise his name in terms of being in charge of Premier League games. This is his first Premier League game this season. He's mostly deployed in the Championship and in EFL Cup games, but he finds himself refereeing in the Premier League today, which is good to see. I think that comes after Chris Kavanagh has been demoted, told he's not working this week, however you want to put it. So, nice moment for Lewis Smith. So far, he's done okay, barring that Joao Pedro, what wasn't a foul from Joe Worrell and Joao Pedro, who he now does give a free kick against Joe Worrell. And, that's even more of a foul than the first one, as he goes through the back of Joao Pedro. As I said earlier on, it's only Joe Worrell's third start in the Premier League this afternoon. It's a weird game to start him in, I have to say. When Ekdal's on the bench, I know Ekdal played at the weekend and Parker clearly wanted to make those changes because he has made 9 changes from the game against Mansfield. I would have probably started Worrell against Mansfield and then played Ekdal this afternoon, because at least Ekdal's played a little bit in the Premier League, or played a bit more frequently in the Premier League this season. That was surely a Chelsea throw-in. He's given offside against Joao Pedro. At least Ekdal has started more frequently in the Premier League. Worrell just looks out of his depth at the moment.
He looks rusty, doesn't he? Whether he'll be able to get up to speed as the game goes on, but by then they could be 2 or 3 goals down. He's potentially had a part to play in Chelsea's first goal, not being able to stop the crossing from Pedro Neto. And he's just looked a bit sort of all over the place, really. So, if you're Chelsea, you'd be looking to prey on that.
Yeah, you certainly would. You'd be looking to get the ball towards Joao Pedro as often as possible, and maybe trying to get Pedro Neto and Cole Palmer running sort of narrowly past the Brazilian forward, as that's a poor pass from Robert Sanchez, and he's just about gotten away with it because Chalobah got a nick on it to take it behind Marcus Edwards. Still, though, Burnley have possession on the far side. Here's Ugachukwu linking up with Marcus Edwards. Ugachukwu now once again moves onto the far side for Laurent. Laurent wants to play it down the line, but he's forced to go backwards to Walker. Walker will then feed at Worrell. Will go square to Esteve. Esteve then feeds Humphreys. Humphreys' ball down the line is a good one. Feeds Hannibal. Hannibal, edge of the penalty area, ball towards Ian Fleming. That's going to be the offside flag up against Jayden Anthony. And that's the end of what was nearly a very promising move for Burnley. But we're a quarter of the way through this one. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. It's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. And I'm going to hand it over to Si to take us through to half-time.
Cheers, it was a yard or 2 offside there, wasn't he, on that last attack from Burnley. But they've just not given a great account of themselves so far, the Clarets. Coming off the back of that last league win, you had sort of hopes that they might be able to compete, but not really been the case so far. Referee wants Chelsea to get on with this free kick and get him to take it from the right place. So Fofana knocks it back to Sanchez. Sanchez a little bit shaky in this game so far. Of course, he gave away a corner from holding the ball on for too long early on in the game. Long clearance from him is played up towards the left-hand side, but headed back towards Laurent, who tries to hold off his man. It was a challenge from Malo Gusto, which has gone out for a throw. Throw into Burnley. And the Clarets wing back just rolls his socks up and leaves that throw in to Kyle Walker, experienced ex-Manchester City man, who lobs it back to Worrell. And he goes back to his goalkeeper, Dubravka. Now Esteve's had a smart start to the game. Esteve fizzes it into midfield for Jayden Anthony, who bounces off a challenge from James and threads a pass through the lines out to the left-hand side. And now a ball over the top here, looking for the run of Fleming, is deflected away off Gusto and out for a throw. It was an opportunity there. Fleming was peeling away to the back post, and if the ball from Laurent had been a little bit better and got past that first man, who knows what danger it would have caused in the Chelsea box. But if some buts at the moment, it's going to be a throw in to the Clarets. They're well inside the Chelsea half, and Kyle Walker has it in his hand. I don't think he's quite going to lob this one into the penalty area for a long throw, but that's what they're set up for. Worrell's gone into the penalty area, near post. Ugachukwu is in there as well, and they've thrown it backwards. And now the cross goes in from a deeper area. It's too close to the keeper. Complete waste of everyone's time and energy. Straight to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, they've thrown it back to Kyle Walker there. If they were throwing that ball back to Jaden Anthony or Marcus Edwards, I'd get it, because it's somebody with a bit of quality swinging the ball in. But Kyle Walker, even at his peak, was never known for being a good crosser of the ball, was he? And
pressure
so
on.
Even now, that's a little bit of a poor pass there back to Robert Sanchez, who's not overly helped himself. Tell you what, Reece James has recycled that ball well, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's headed it on, and now Burnley are on the back foot. Worrell eventually, Esteve gets his header in the way, and he does really well. Cool under pressure, clears the lines, gives a chance for his defenders to get back, and one of those is Medjbury, who just sees the ball out for a throw to Chelsea. Taken by James. Back to Fofana. Now Caicedo. Caicedo just sideways to Andre Santos. And the Brazilian now into Fernandez's feet. Fernandez on the half turn, works it wide to James. Right hand side. James's cross in towards the penalty area. It's just beyond Neto at the far post. It was a great delivery from Reece James there. Neto closed in on it, but just got eased off it by the fullback, or wing back rather, doubling up on him there. I think it was either Laurent or Walker. Yeah, it was Laurent, I think, just did enough to put him off. But Chelsea getting some good areas in the wide areas, really, to get some balls in, but haven't quite found their mark just yet, apart from that one from Neto, which produced the 3rd minute goal for João Pedro. Burnley building up from the back now with Ugachukwu, back on his old stomping ground, if you like. Never really made much of an impact in Chelsea colours. Given away, though, by Dubravka. Picked up in midfield by Medjbury. Back to Ugachukwu, who goes sideways to Walker. Now Laurent, back to goal, but on the halfway line under pressure. Goes back to Walker once more. Dubravka receives the back pass and takes his time, waiting for some kind of press here. It's not coming from Chelsea. Now he kicks into midfield towards the halfway line. Fleming backing in there, has done enough to keep the ball, and now there's a foul on Laurent out on that far side to give Burnley a free kick.
Yeah, it just feels at the minute they haven't got a game plan, Burnley, in terms of how to get the ball forward. It feels like they were set up to keep it at 0-0 for quite a while, and Chelsea will go, we're 1-0 up, we're not going to commit 10 bodies forward and really, over commit. So Burnley have now got to come up with an idea of how to attack it and not be on the counter attack, because it's just not going to happen. Unfortunately, when you concede an early goal, the game plan goes out the window.
They've got to get this service into the box better than last time. It looks like it's going to come in first time this time from the free kick, as it's crossed in by Anthony deep to the penalty area. Sanchez has come a long way, but he's made a good claim there under very little pressure, it must be said. There is a play down in the box for Chelsea. It's Andre Santos, who's been caught on the back of his knee, just being helped to his feet by his goalkeeper, and I don't think they'll need to stop the game for too long. Just a bit of a coming together there as Andre Santos got caught, and then Ugachukwu sort of stood on the back of his leg as he fell over, which was a painful one for the former Strasbourg man. He's really been a fixture in this Chelsea side since Rosigne took over. Of course, he knows him from his time at Strasbourg. That's foul on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area now by Medjbury, as he was trying to dispossess I think it's Caicedo. It is. I
always love it when players gesture to the referee, that sort of like small signal. It's like, it's still a foul. You've still caught him. When Hannibal goes up to the referee and goes, "Oh, I've caught him just a little bit." You've still caught him though. It's still a foul, and it's still the first yellow card of the afternoon. Small. He's trod on his foot. That's not a good tackle at all from Hannibal. You can see from the replay, it's not a great challenge at all from the side of Moises Caicedo, and rightly so. He's yellow carded.
Tunisian's had his disciplinary problems, hasn't he, in the past? And
it's really that's a needless challenge, because Chelsea weren't exactly playing there. He didn't need to dive in and get himself a yellow card and put himself on a tightrope for the rest of the game.
That's exactly what he's done. A free kick to be taken by Sanchez from just outside the penalty area. The Blues lead 1-0, an early lead given to them by João Pedro. I think when that went in, you thought, well, this could be anything. It could be looking at a really big score for Chelsea, but they haven't kicked on. But neither of Burnley really looked like scoring themselves. That's a nice pass from Edwards out to the right-hand side to get Laurent into the game. He checks back and finds Walker on the halfway line, then into Ugachukwu, who's Just going to play a little 1-2 there with Walker. Now he plays it forward. Edwards there, crowded out there by 2 tacklers, and it's won back by Chelsea's midfield. Caicedo to Fernandez, back to Palmer. Caicedo again, sideways to Santos. Lots of passes, but they're just going from side to side. Now James threads it out to the right. Sorry, that was for James by Fofana, and he collects it and knocks it back to Caicedo. Burnley with all the claret shirts behind the ball now. Over on the left-hand side, Neto pops up, dribbles in field, and then can't thread it through the legs of Ugachukwu. Edwards clears up to the halfway line. James brings it down. He's facing the wrong way here, so he'll have to. Sorry, Fofana brings it down. He's going back towards his own goal and knocks it through to Sanchez. Sanchez takes a touch, clears his lines. It's going to fall nicely though for Esteve. Sideways he goes to Humphreys. Humphreys, the ex-Man City man, turns, plays it back to Worrell inside the Burnley half. And now Walker. His forward pass was telegraphed and seized upon by Caicedo. And here they come again, Chelsea. Caicedo running the left-hand side. A bundle of energy and a bundle of quality as well in this game so far. A little back heel from him, though, doesn't come off. And that's what's known as a commentator's curse. As Walker can now knock it back to Worrell. Worrell just pumps it clear. Headed down by Andre Santos. Back to Edwards. Former Sporting Club of Lisbon man. Medjbri pokes it forward. Laurent gets it under control, finds the feet of Jayden Anthony. He's got runners off him. Edwards one side and Fleming the other. It's gone towards Fleming, whose touch let him down. Awful touch, really. Easily cleared by Chelsea and Chalobah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy ball to control. I don't think it's the right idea from Jayden Anthony. I think you just keep running with that. You've got the 2 runners there, not necessarily to give the ball to, but to keep the defence backpedaling. He could keep bringing that ball forward. Instead, he tries to force the issue, and, you know, it is terrible from Zian Fleming. Take nothing away from it, but I also think as well, Jayden Anthony's not overly helped him.
Nice run from Medjbri here. He's got about 30 yards with the ball, then he's been brought down in a great position for a free kick. The Tunisian bounces back, and now the yellow card's been awarded to the man that fouled him, which is Fofana. But yeah, he just picked up pace there. He ran past João Pedro, got a nice hole in the midfield to run through before Fofana came out and absolutely upended him. Clear free kick, but what a position this is for Burnley.
It's complacency from Chelsea. I think ever since that cross into the box where it was that free kick, wasn't it, that Andre Santos picked up that little bit of a knock, he's just stopped running completely, and I don't know whether that's because he's injured or whether that's just because he doesn't fancy it. I'm not sure, but they're complacent, Chelsea. They're making it too easy for Burnley. It's a shame James Ward-Prowse isn't on the field, because this would have been a real good opportunity. Or Jakob Brun-Larsen. Both those two are very, very good over dead ball situations. We're intrigued to see who it is that's going to hit it. Zian Fleming and Marcus Edwards are the 2 standing over it. Yeah. Zian Fleming's got 5 goals in the league this season. Marcus Edwards has just the 1.
Well, Edwards has placed the ball. That doesn't always mean he's going to take it, does it? But obviously he wants the ball to be in exactly the spot. Whoever takes it usually wants the ball to be in exactly the spot.
It's a left-footed spot, isn't it? This suits Marcus Edwards a bit better. You know, when it's at the angle to the right-hand side. I mean, having said that, it is not as far to the right as I initially thought. But I think I'd be leaving this for the left foot.
I think they're looking at the way the wall's set up here, and you know, which is the way round or over the wall. The referee has now told them to get on with things. Zian Fleming is pointing, saying the wall is not far back.
Pedro Neto stood in front of the wall, so that means he's not the obligatory 10 yards back, and he's now waving over to the bench. I mean, I get it from Burnley, and I actually like it when players complain about this, because
of course the Burnley players who are stood near the wall have to be away from the wall as well.
I think it's 2 metres away from the wall themselves.
Well, referee has blown the whistle. Edwards does hit it straight through the wall and wide of target.
That's so bad. He is the perfect distance to get the ball up and over the wall. He's 25 yards out, and in the end, he is so fortunate that that's gone through the wall. Otherwise, it's one of the worst free kicks I've ever seen. Now, having said that, if I'm Liam Rossini, I'm absolutely furious, because the ball should never be getting through there, and Chelsea should be on for a counter-attack because it's hit the wall and they can go forward.
Yeah, the ball went through the wall and then curled away from goal. Had it been more of a straight shot and that wall would still have opened up like that, then Sanchez might have been in trouble. So yeah, definitely the Chelsea wall needs addressing there, and whoever it was, I think it might have been Cole Palmer near the edge of the wall who did it. Anyway, here's Palmer on the attack, trying to thread it through to João Pedro's. Control is about as bad as Zian Fleming's was at the other end of the pitch a few minutes ago. Here's Medjbri driving Burnley forward down the right hand side. Laurent joins the attack. He's in full cry here, trying to get past Neto. He gets a nudge and goes down, and the referee does give the free kick Burnley's way. And Neto now with some histrionics in his complaints about that award. He gave him a nudge, didn't he? You know, whether you say he's gone down too cheaply or not, but Neto would want it going the other way. If he was just nudged like that and went down, he would want the free kick, and now he's complaining that Laurent has gone down too easily at the other end. I mean, he's one of the players that goes down the most easily in the Premier League, Pedro Neto.
He's easily wound up, isn't he, the Portuguese international. It doesn't take much to set him off, and that seemingly has set him off, which is pretty impressive from Josh Laurent, to be honest. Leeds are taking the lead at home against Aston Villa, by the way, and Brighton also lead Brentford by a goal to nil thanks to a strike from Diego Gomez. And it's Anton Stack who got the goal for Leeds.
Away to Aston Villa. I hope they're not at home because I've got to get through the traffic on the way back. Here's the free kick from Burnley. Hit high to the back post. Esteve wins the header, but nobody close enough to support him, and it's booted away by Chelsea. And then a mistake on the halfway line, and they could be in trouble. It's Joe Worrell again, is it? Oh, no, he's given a chance for Cole Palmer, who goes through and hits it straight at the goalkeeper. It was Kyle Walker's horrendous blunder against his former Manchester City teammate, but Palmer could not take advantage and hit it straight at Dubravka.
He had to do better. I think he panics because Walker's travelling past him, but yeah, he has to do an awful lot better. And in the end, he makes a mess of it. Take it closer to the goal, cause Dubravka a problem. Instead, he's taken a shot early and he's hit it straight at him.
Yeah, Burnley though having a good spell at the moment. They've seen plenty of the ball in the Chelsea half. They have it with Ugachukwu. He knocks it back now to Walker. Ugachukwu had a spell on loan at Southampton while he was in Chelsea colours. Now it's played back to Medjbri on the halfway line. Nice pass out to the left here by Medjbri to Humphreys. Humphreys takes it in a funny body position. He's lost that now in a challenge to Reece James, who carries it forward. Humphreys has got to get back here, and the referee has finally called it back for an infringement. Initially, I didn't think he'd given the free kick there, but he has now brought play back, and there's complaints here from Burnley that James has picked the ball up.
Yeah, he's just bringing it back to where the free kick's to be taken. So I don't really know where the issue is because he's not stopping them from doing anything. I don't know why that took so long for the referee to blow for that foul.
Well, maybe he did, and maybe Chelsea just didn't stop because we can't hear the whistle here. But Reece James is wagging his finger, and
I mean it is a foul. There's no, he makes contact from behind before he pokes the ball away. I think that's a foul. I was really confused that he just kept running with the ball afterwards.
Yeah, maybe so. Anyway, it's Medjbri. He's having an increasing influence on the game. He's then fouled now by Enzo Fernandez. And again, Chelsea's reactions here are quite sort of, I don't know, bordering on just being a little bit petulant towards the referee. I don't think they're happy with this referee, Chelsea, at the moment. But to be honest, he's getting these decisions right. They're fouls.
Yeah, he is. He's only missed that one where João Pedro is being pulled back by Joe Worrell. But the rest of them, he is getting them right. I don't really understand this from Chelsea. Chelsea shouldn't have a problem with Burnley messing about with it in the midfield. That's fine.
Medjbri's gone down here. Has his hair been pulled? Well, I don't think it has. But Medjbri's gone down as if, there's a foul worse than it appears from Fernandez. So they're not making it easy for the referee, both sides. Chelsea are appealing wildly for everything and disputing the decisions, and Burnley, when they do get decisions, are kind of overreacting and making more than perhaps it should be. Anyway, from the free kick, taken by Dubravka, it's hit into the Chelsea half, flicked on. It might be picked up by Edwards on the edge of the box. He's got the Chelsea defence backing off. He plays it wide. Cross comes in from Laurent. It turns towards goal, and it's scraped away at the back post by James, as Chelsea didn't defend the first ball in there.
Yeah, and they should have done. That's far too easy for the ball to get through. Firstly, Andre Santos has got to do better in the air from that initial flick on, and then there's just three players just diving around in the penalty area. I mean, who's that? There's João Pedro back there doing defence, so I won't criticise him too much. But he moves out the way of that cross.
Corner taken by Burnley, crossed in by Anthony, headed away at the near post by Chelsea, picked up by Medjbri on the edge, and he goes with a volley towards goal. It's straight at Sanchez.
Yeah, good. It's quite well there, the full Manchester United man, but it was going to take a serious effort to beat Robert Sanchez from that distance, and unfortunately for him, it wasn't quite serious enough. It's not a bad effort, but on the swivel, he's not quite Thierry Henry, is he?
He's not, no. But he's having more of an influence on the game, isn't he? Since he got that yellow card, he's getting hold of the ball, he's driving Burnley forward, and he's getting some end product there with that shot. Chelsea have slackened off here. This will be the concern. That talk about their fans and not being happy with what they've seen recently. After 3 minutes, this game was in their grasp. You 1-0 up, you're against a team who are in the bottom two. You go on and win this 4-5-0. But at the moment, it's 1-0, approaching half-time, and they're in trouble as a ball's played in towards Gusto, but he can't time his run, and he goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, decent idea looking for Malo Gusto on the near side. He's switched over, presumably because Chelsea haven't reset from that corner. but the pass towards him just isn't quite there. Just seen a replay of that chance earlier on for Cole Palmer. Is it maybe he sees the Brav Crawford's line? I don't. Is it because Kyle Walker's still there with him? Either way, I mean, it's absolutely dreadful from the former Manchester City man. Why is he bringing it down with his thigh? I mean, he's never been that kind of player, so I don't understand why he thinks he can do that now. But yeah, it's really poor from Cole Palmer, and it really ought to be 2-0. I think at the time we were a bit like, oh, that's a okay chance. No, it's an unbelievably good chance. You've just said there. He gets in front of Kyle Walker. Walker can't touch him. There should have been no panic. That should have been 2-0, but easy as you like.
Yeah, and that would have been more of a fair reflection of where this game should be right now. I mean, I'm not saying that Burnley should be 2-0 down, because they shouldn't, because Chelsea haven't taken the chances or really looked like scoring a second apart from that. Here's Neto on the left-hand side. Plays it back to Palmer, edge of the box. Palmer trying to work his way through a lot of traffic, just stumbles into Burnley defenders, but it's given away by Walker, who's having a terrible game at the back now. I think it's fair to say that a couple of the Burnley defenders, Walker and Worrell, have been off it. The rest of the Burnley players, though, have battled hard and they've shown a bit. Chelsea on the ball again with Santos to Neto. Neto holding the ball, plays it wide. Gusto gets on it now. The former Marseille man plays it back into the feet of Caicedo. His defence splitting ball helped Chelsea take the lead early on in this game. They're just keeping the ball with some short 5-yard passes now, but not really going anywhere. Trying to force Burnley out of their defensive stations. They get it out to the right now for James. James trying to tiptoe his way infield, then lays it off to Caicedo. Square to Chalobah. And now we've got Cole Palmer edging forward, edge of the penalty area, driving into the box, still going here, the Chelsea number 10. Knocks it back to Neto. They penetrate and then they go back away from the Burnley penalty area. So the attack kind of fizzles out to nothing in the end. A little flick from Palmer doesn't reach Neto, and Burnley have a throw in. I
mean, obviously it'll be frustrating as a Chelsea fan watching that and seeing your side almost create an attack and then it just kind of fizzle out through nothing than your side's lack of intent. However, what I would say is it came up on our screen last 5 minutes. Chelsea have had 33% of the ball. They've had to do an awful lot of chasing. Just keep the ball. Just control the game. Nobody wants to see Chelsea do that. For a fan, you want to see goals. For a neutral, you want to see goals and the team go for it. But as a manager, you just want to see your team pick up 3 points and control the game. And that's exactly what Chelsea did there for a period of time. And now all of a sudden, Burnley have exhausted a bit more energy. And now once again on the back foot because Chelsea keeping a hold of the ball. That's a great tackle, though, from Joe Worrell.
Yeah, that's his best moment of the game. Maybe he's shaking off some of that rust as the ball's played up towards Edwards, who's got the pace. In fact, it's Anthony who's swapped flanks
great
now.
Challenge.
He's gone past his man, but a good recovery challenge comes in there from Chalobah after Gusto had been beaten. Chalobah rock solid in his challenge, but it's given away by Caicedo. And Anthony almost fastens onto it there again. It goes back to Sanchez. Risky ball from him into Caicedo's feet, but played back out to James, who now clears down the line. And lost in midfield again by Chelsea. They're getting a bit scrappy here. Eventually James brings it under his control and knocks it inside to André Santos.
Both sides need half-time here, I think. I think Chelsea need to go in and regroup. Don't be surprised if we maybe don't see André Santos come out in the second half. He just looks... I think it's since that knock. That he picked up from that free kick. He just doesn't seem to be able to keep up, and he seems to be constantly behind the pace of play. And Burnley, I think, they've seen enough positives for Scott Parker to be able to go at half-time and say, okay, let's commit some more bodies forward. I think, understandably for now, it's like, okay, let's not concede another before half-time. But at half-time, I think Scott Parker will give them the licence to commit some more bodies forward.
Yeah, Chalobah does really well in defence, knocks it wide to Gusto, and he goes on a little bit of a range forward himself before the ball's passed back. And it's a bit negative that from Chelsea, but Sanchez, then Caicedo finding Fofana to carry it out of defence. Fofana, just like Chalobah did a few minutes ago, he's carried it deep into the Burnley half before he stops and plays it backwards. And they're just a bit frustrated. They get to a point where they're just met by a wall of claret shirts and they have to go back, the Chelsea players. But the referee has indicated there's going to be 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. And we're into that first minute now. Chelsea on the attack, slowing it down. Neto now on the right. Plays it in field to Fofana. Fofana edge of the box here. Chops back onto his left foot. Won't be shooting from there. Goes back to André Santos. Burnley players crowd him out. The ball's played over the top and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, again, that was a weird one. I don't think that was the right ball. I'll keep saying it. I think as a fan, you watch this and you go, this is not enjoyable football. I'm not enjoying watching this. As a neutral, I can sit here and go, yeah, I'm not, loving this game of football. But I think Liam Rosenior, for the most part, will go in at half-time, go, yeah, I'm happy with that. 3 points are 3 points at the end of the day, and they look pretty comfortable in getting those 3 points. I don't be surprised in the second half if they come out and for 10 minutes they really push for a second.
Yeah.
But I think it's once that second goal comes that they'll be cruising.
Foul now by Andre Santos on a Burnley player who's still crumpled in a heap on the pitch, so that'll be a free kick to Burnley, and that might be the last action of the first half. Not the foul, the free kick that will result from it, because we're just coming towards the end of that second minute of stoppage time. Ugochukwu it is who gets back to his feet, and he'll now station himself in the penalty area, because that's no doubt where this free kick's going from Burnley. Some of the Chelsea fans have headed for the half-time drinks and snacks, but there's a little bit of action here near their penalty area they might be a bit concerned about. Medjbry's going to take it with his right foot over on the right side of the Chelsea half. This one's no doubt going into that penalty area. Will it come with quality from Medjbry? It's not bad, It's into the six towards the penalty spot, headed away by Chelsea, and the referee now blows the whistle for half-time at Stamford Bridge, where it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0.
Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to a fantastic early goal from João Pedro. Most of the applause have to go to Caicedo and Neto for the brilliant build-up play. Caicedo picks the ball up in midfield, threads a beautiful 50 yards pass to Pedro Neto, who on his stronger right... Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into João Pedro, who on the second time of asking is able to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea should be 2 up. Cole Palmer had a brilliant chance one-on-one with Dubravka that was saved by the goalkeeper, but at half-time it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to an early goal from João Pedro. A lot of the applause has got to go to Caicedo and Pedro Neto for their play in the build-up, but João Pedro was there to tap in from close range. It's Caicedo who threads a lovely ball through to Pedro Neto, and on his left boot he plays a nice cross into...
Hi, it's very warm welcome back to this independent off-tube studio-based commentary of this Premier League fixture at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Burnley. The two sides went in at half-time with Chelsea leading by a goal to nil. They may be about to make it 2. Mistake from Bashir Humphrey straight away at the start of the second half. João Pedro, Cole Palmer with the effort, challenge inside the box. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty. Dubravka waves his finger, and the referee, I think, has just pointed for a goal kick. It's Joe Worrell again. It's myself, Luke Ashurst, alongside me. Here's Sam and Bar to take you through all of the action. And well, Sam, we've got some action already in the second half.
Yeah, this is going to get reviewed. It's a terrible mistake by Humphrey. So Humphrey's a switch from left side to right side to accommodate the half-time change. They've taken off Kyle Walker. Lucas Perez has gone left wing back. Bashir Humphrey's now on the right. It's an awful back pass from him that puts Esteve in massive trouble, and João Pedro threads it through to Cole Palmer, who's about to take the shot. When his outstretched boot comes in from Worrell, he gets the ball. It's a great challenge from Worrell. Yeah. He's got better as the game's gone on.
Yeah, he has, which is unsurprising. As I said in that first half, it's his, only his third start of the season in the Premier League. But he has gotten better as the game's gone on. As Sam's just mentioned, there has been a change at half-time made by Scott Parker. Lucas Perez has come on to replace Kyle Walker. A change needed to be made at half-time by Burnley, you felt, but especially tactically, to try and commit some more bodies forward, but personnel-wise as well. That is certainly going to help Chelsea, or as they were at the end of that first half. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment or so. But long ball sent forward by Robert Sanchez, I should say. Is plucked out of the air by Esteve. Esteve will then launch it back down the line once again to where it came from, and Chelsea will restart from their goalkeeper once more. It does give me a chance though to run you through the teams. For Chelsea, it's Sanchez in goal, a back four of Gusto, Chalobah, Fofana and James. Midfield two of Santos and Caicedo, with Neto, Fernandes and Palmer supporting the goal scorer João Pedro through the middle. As for Burnley, it's Dubravka in goal, a back three of Laurent, Worrell and Esteve. A midfield 4 of Perez, Ugachukwu, Hannibal and Humphreys, with Edwards and Anthony supporting Fleming up front. Chelsea have won the ball back high up here off of Marcus Edwards. Here's Palmer. Lays off onto the far side for James. James born to the box, headed away by Worrell. Only his father is Neto, just inside the penalty area. Lets the ball run out of the box and will lay it off to Malo Gusto. Gusto will then move it centrally for Andre Santos. I think Bashir Humphreys has gone to the back three, Simon. I think Josh Laurent's continued at right wing back, and I think Bashir Humphreys is now playing at centre half, which is an interesting one because he is a centre half by trade, but he's not been used as a centre half very much at all by Burnley, just in his tenure at the club. So it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on this afternoon in that new position. There's a ball now on the near side with Pedro Neto under pressure from Laurent. We'll go back to Andre Santos and then all the way back to Trevor Chalobah. I'm a little bit surprised Andre Santos has come back out for the second half. He was struggling towards the back end of that first 45 and he did pick up a little bit of a knock from a ball into the penalty area, but he seems to have shaken it off for now in the second half. We'll see how he is on the ball as the half goes on. As Perez now trying to get away from danger, will lay it off to Esteve. Long ball forward towards Jaden Anthony. He's headed away well by Fofana, and then James has had the ball kicked off of him by Esteve over on the far side, and it will be a Burnley throw. Just a reminder, by the way, 2 other games kicked off at 3 o'clock along with ours in the Premier League. Scoring Aston Villa 0, Leeds United 1, and it's Brentford 0, Brighton 2. I'll try and keep you updated on those 2 games as best as I can throughout this second half. Both the games are available on this service, in case you're wondering. There's also a fair few Championship games as well going on at the moment at 3 o'clock. Select few are also available on this service. Again, I will try and keep you updated on those as best as possible.
How many points does that take Leeds to if they win at Aston Villa today? Because they'll be nearly at the 40-point mark, won't they?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually. It takes them up to 33.
Oh, okay.
Crucially, it's 9 points away from West Ham in 18th, so they're 9 points safe, the same way that at the minute Burnley are currently 9 points from safety. So bearing in mind people would consider Burnley almost resigned to relegation at the moment, arguably you'd say then that Leeds are resigned to staying in the Premier League.
Oh, it's a bad result for Burnley, isn't it? Without a doubt. It's another team that one of the ones that might have got drawn back into trouble. It's a scoreline going against them, not a result obviously at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. As Humphreys now with a throw on the near side. She's going to throw the ball back to Joe Worrell. Worrell will then tell Hannibal to launch it over onto the far side. Instead, it will chip it down the near side towards Laurent, who tries to bring the ball down, but it's a poor touch from him, and it's out of play for a throw on the near side. He had an interesting game last weekend, did Josh Laurent. He scored a fantastic goal against Mansfield. Then gave it the big one a little bit in front of the away fans, which kind of backfired, I think it's fair to say. It's always a dangerous game, celebrating in front of away fans and celebrating with a little bit of fury, and ultimately it massively backfired. But he's not played too badly this afternoon, but his side currently, once again, is set for another defeat, as that's Hannibal playing the ball back to Dubravka. Dubravka will then return the ball back to Hannibal over on the far side under pressure from Reece James. Will try and get away for the Chelsea captain. He fails to do so. Here's Cole Palmer now in the penalty area. João Pedro onto his left foot. João Pedro should have scored. Really, really poor effort from João Pedro. I think it's taken a deflection to spare his blushes. Chelsea should have had an extra 2 in this one.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get it onto his left when perhaps he should have just tried to use his right there. I don't know. It's a good closing down to win the ball back, and Cole Palmer finds him in the penalty area. He turns back onto his left, and as he's swinging that left boot towards it, Bashir Humphreys just gets the good enough block on it to put it behind for the corner. Yeah, really good defending from Bashir Humphreys. The full-time whistle's gone at Twickenham, by the way, in case you're wondering. England have been tonked 42-21 by Ireland in London. So it looks like the Six Nations is not going to be coming to England, and at the minute it's pretty set to be going to France. To be brutally honest, as Reece James will flick the ball down the line looking towards Malo Gusto. He's been fouled from behind by Josh Laurent, who looked bemused. I'm not entirely sure why he looks bemused. He's gone straight through the back of Malo Gusto. Yeah, he just nudges him. It's a push in the back, really. He's not playing the ball. It just ticks all the boxes for a foul, really, doesn't it? Malo Gusto's not gone down easily there because it's a massive forearm in his back.
Yeah, it's an odd one from Josh
just lazy
Laurent.
defending, really.
Yeah.
You're thinking in that position, you just don't want to run back with the player, and you just want to do the easy thing, which is just shove him over.
Reece James has moved the ball quite a considerable distance away from where this free kick is meant to be taken. You can see the spray on the floor, and it's nowhere near the ball. Reece James has now been told to move the ball back. It's still not behind the spray, so it's still not where it should be taken from, but no need to get pedantic at this stage of the afternoon. Chance for Chelsea to swing this ball into the penalty, and it will be swinging by Reece James. It'll be a right-footed delivery from the Chelsea captain. In fact, he's gone for goal there, Reece James.
Yeah.
And it's not gone the way he would have liked. Having said that, what's happened here? The referee, is he going to ask for this to be retaken? He's now stopped the play. What's happened here? Zian Fleming, he's got a holder for Fofana. He then hits the deck. Is this before or after the free kick's taken? I think the referee's going to ask for it to be retaken.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of inexperience, or should we say it's a little bit of VAR inexperience in the referee. Most referees just let that go, and if there is an infringement, let VAR deal with it. What he's done, he's blown the whistle as the ball's coming in and essentially stopped the game.
Reece James again goes for goal. This time it's nowhere near catching Martin Dubravka out. And ultimately, it's a really poor free kick because it's allowed Burnley to come forward on the counter-attack. Here it is on the far side with Lucas Perez. Wants it on his left boot to get the ball into the box. Why did he not cross the ball as he moved down the left there? Instead, he just ran backwards and he slowed things down for Burnley. Here's Jayden Anthony trying to get away from his man. He's then fallen over and kicked the ball out of play. That is so poor from Burnley on the attack. It really is. They've made a complete hash of it, and that's not what Lucas Perez has been brought on for.
I don't think Burnley are happy with the referee now. In fact, I think both teams are sort of muttering to each other about this referee and thinking he's not up to the job. You know, we mentioned earlier on it's his first Premier League game of the season, and when you step up from the Championship to the Premier League, obviously the big difference is VAR. And I think some of his decisions are puzzling the players because they usually get let go and get dealt with by VAR. He's refereeing like a Championship game here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be brutally honest. I would
in the first half.
He did very well in the first half,
yeah.
But I will also be honest, I would rather see referees come up from the Championship and referee like there's no VAR than what we saw last weekend, like in the Newcastle Villa game, where we see referees without VAR refereeing like there is VAR and giving free kicks rather than penalties when the play's 5 yards inside the box.
And let me just be clear about my opinion, is that the referee's having a decent game. It's just that I think the players on the pitch are not happy with him. You know, that's their prerogative.
It's VAR. It's the root to all evil. I'm telling you, it's the worst. But here come Chelsea now down the near side. Caicedo looking to feed Pedro Neto, similarly to how he did for the goal. Failed to do so, and now here come Burnley. Laurent near side, right-footed ball. It's a good one towards the back post. Fleming's there, tries to nod it back across goal, and in the end he doesn't get enough purchase on the header, and it's cleared away well by Chalobah. Brilliant ball towards the back post for Zian Fleming. I'll bring Simon in a second because Palmer's done brilliantly well. He's away from Esteve. Here's Cole Palmer driving towards the penalty area. Palmer lays it off. Neto, can he get a shot off? He can, and it's blocked. Brilliant. They made a mess of that again, Chelsea, but it's brilliant from Joe Worrell.
Yeah, there are two Burnley players willing to throw the bodies in the way of that Pedro Neto shot after Cole Palmer just sped away from Esteve through midfield, fed the Portuguese, who had a sighter of goal, but it was quickly closed off by the defenders. But yeah, going back to the cross, Ukachukwu, a lovely ball outside to Laurent, who's got the pace and he's got the vision. He looks up, delivers a fantastic cross to the back post. Initially Sanchez is coming, then he has to go back. Fleming wins the header, but there's just nobody there to capitalise on it for Burnley.
No, it's an opportunity that goes a-begging for Burnley, a big opportunity that goes a-begging for Chelsea as well. Neto did not want that ball. I'm adamant of it. He made that run to take the defender away, so Palmer could either have the shot or move it to his right instead. Instead he played it to Neto. He's caught flat-footed and the chance goes a-begging. Cross comes in from Reece James. Again, it's a chip one. It's beyond the front post, and this time the referee blows for a free kick inside the 6-yard box. Just trying to work out who it is. It's Zian Fleming. He hasn't half been involved this afternoon, has he?
I hadn't noticed the Reece James corner thing, but now you've pointed it out. It
does it every time, doesn't it?
It's infuriating, isn't it? It's just no variety to the corners at all.
No, it's the same thing over and over again. Leslie Chukwu's return to Stamford Bridge is going to end prematurely this afternoon. I don't think he's going off with an injury, but he's not even going to make it to the hour mark. He's been replaced this afternoon by James Ward-Prowse, the man. I'm pretty sure he's only on loan from West Ham United, and in fact he is only on loan. I mean, both clubs he's played for this season could find themselves in the Championship next season. Whether he will be at either of them, we'll have to wait and see. But Ward-Prowse replaced Ukachukwu, who, compared to Hannibal, has barely been involved this afternoon.
Yeah, he did get that knock, didn't he, in first half stoppage time for the free kick which Medjbury played in, but I can't think of any other sort of injury incidents he's had, so yeah, just lasted 12 minutes of the second half. Now Fofana's gone down with a knock to his side. Looks like he's winded. He's holding his rib actually. As the goal kick was played out there, it was it might have been Fleming again who's putting himself about, and Fofana's gone down holding his side. Fleming's been called over to the referee. I think he's just laying the law down here to the former Millwall man about one or two incidents that have happened in the game. He's looking at Fofana. He's targeting him. He jumps into him, elbows him in the ribs. That is targeting from Fleming. You know, in rugby union, you'd be off for the sin bin for that.
Yeah, not good from Zian Fleming at all, whose role this afternoon has been made pretty clear from minute one. It's to frustrate and irritate that Chelsea middle back three of Caicedo, Fofana and Chalobah. As João Pedro's done well to win back the bouncing ball there. Has Pedro Neto managed to win a throw-in down the near side? He has. Good from him. One of the championship games that's available on this service this afternoon is Wrexham against Ipswich. It's been a phenomenal game in Wales today. It's Wrexham 2, Ipswich 3. So certainly one to keep an eye on. But in our game, just under an hour gone, Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Here it is now with Trevor Chalobah in possession. Lays it off to Moises Caicedo, who will take his time on the ball. No pressure from anybody in a Burnley shirt. Now here's Chalobah once more. Feeds Gusto. Gusto down the line for Neto. Neto one-on-one with Bashir Humphreys. Cuts in on his right boot. Then onto his left. Lovely ball. Gusto. Gusto squares it. Palmer can't get it under control. And Burnley can get it clear. I'm not suggesting that, you know, Burnley look likely to get a goal in this one. These missed chances are going to be rude by Chelsea if they can't find the back of the net sooner rather than later. Yeah. Here's Palmer on the edge of the penalty area, finds Andre Santos. He's not passed the ball forward once this afternoon, and Fofana's given the ball away. Then Hannibal gives the ball away, and Fofana can go on a bit of run. Here is Cole Palmer. Palmer lays it off to Gusto. Gusto back to Palmer, edge of the penalty area. Palmer past a couple, spreads it to James. James on the far side, ball's down the line. It's intercepted by Lucas Perez, and Burnley should get it clear. Do they get it clear? No, they don't. He's giving it straight back to Reece James on the far side. Reece James now feeds Caicedo. Caicedo to Chalobah. Chalobah across to Andre Santos. He's gone forward. Andre Santos has passed the ball forward to Cole Palmer, and then he's given the ball away. Hannibal will drive forward. Has he been fouled there by João Pedro? Referee says no. Play will continue as Gusto drives forward. Gusto now finds João Pedro. João Pedro to Pedro Neto. 20 yards away from goal. Now here's Gusto once again. Onto his right boot. Can he get the ball into the box? No, he can't. He'll lay it off to Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto then stops, waits, gives it to Andre Santos. Andre Santos will move it square over to Fofana. Fofana onto the far side for James. Reece James now finds Fernandez. Fernandez back to Reece James. Reece James further back to Fofana. Fofana to Chalobah. Chalobah now to Andre Santos. This is just Chelsea passing it from side to side. This is we're keeping to watch football. This is more like watching rugby union at the moment. It's side to side, and then eventually somebody will pummel it long. As Reece James now has it on the far side. Wants to get away from Lucas Perez. Doesn't even try to beat the Brazilian. So we'll go back to Caicedo. Now here's Chalobah. Caicedo again. Onto the far side for Reece James. That's a decent ball in. It's headed up into the air by Esteve. Further cleared by Fleming. Perez will then gather the loose ball. Gives it away though. And it's been gathered by Caicedo. Caicedo then finds Fernandez. Fernandez to James. Fernandez then to James once more. Caicedo. Back to Fofana. Burnley cannot get a kick at the moment in this one. Here's Chalobah to Andre Santos. Santos then onto the near side for Pedro Neto. Down line on his left boot. Then back onto his right boot. Into the penalty area for Gusto. Gusto then feeds Andre Santos. He then goes square to Chalobah. Chalobah will then launch a ball over onto the far side that's under hit, and maybe Burnley can come forward on the counter-attack. Here's Jayden Anthony. He then tries to return the ball back to Lucas Perez, easily intercepted, and Chelsea will restart in their own half. It's neither team's getting anywhere here in this one.
No, it's tactically it's a bit deadlocked, isn't it? I think, you know, Burnley's tactics are working to the extent of they're frustrating Chelsea, but they're doing it from a point where they're 1-0 down already. You know, I mean, I think just that one moment of sloppiness in the first half has cost them dear, because tactically they are right in this game. You know, they're forcing Chelsea into wide areas. Then Chelsea don't want to cross because they look at the three big centre backs there and they're saying, well, we're not going to put a cross into that when we've only got João Pedro and potentially Cole Palmer in there. Palmer's missed a couple of big chances as well in this game. You know, his overall play is decent, but his finishing is off at the moment. His finishing is nowhere near it should be for a top number 10. And with those finishing errors and with Burnley tactically doing okay in this game, it's just deadlocked at 1-0.
Yeah, it is. It's going to need he's going to need one of the managers to roll the dice to really get anything interesting going. I mean, if you're Chelsea, you're not really that bothered because it's 1-0 and that lead is not threatened. I just feel at this level, you very rarely see your side miss this many chances and not get punished.
Yeah, well, Leeds did it to them, didn't they? I mean, Chelsea missed chances in that first half against Leeds, were pegged back, so I think Burnley are probably hoping for something similar to happen again.
Yeah, quite possibly. Here's Gusto down the near side, feeds Pedro Neto. Neto looking for options around him. The flag's gone up against him for offside. When the game is being played at walking speed, you should never be caught offside. That's so poor. Oh, we've seen a replay of here. Is it maybe the chance for Cole Palmer? I mean, it's brilliant from Malo Gusto to exploit the space, and great ball from Pedro Neto. I think that ball's got to go to Joao Pedro at the back post. I thought it at the time. I don't think it's a bad idea going back to Palmer, but Joao Pedro's goal side of his man, and it's an easy finish. You fire it back to Cole Palmer, it's always going to be a difficult chance.
Yeah, he comes back onto his right foot. He's got Enzo Fernandez just behind him as well. If he lets it run to Enzo Fernandez, he's probably having a better chance as well, coming onto it. And, I think probably Enzo Fernandez is a better finisher than Cole Palmer at the moment. He's just a bit out of sorts, isn't he? I think his overall play is still good, but he's just not. He's not got that sort of goal. That everything he touched turned to a goal a couple of years ago, didn't it? And you can never sustain that kind of productivity, but he's nowhere near it in terms of his finishing at the moment.
No, and do you think Simon that's because of fitness, or is this a different thing? Because there was talk about maybe a move back to Manchester and joining Manchester United in the summer. That seems to have gone a little bit quiet since we've exited the January transfer window, but nobody involved with Cole Palmer denied that he wasn't a little bit homesick. I'll break up because he's won the ball back well here in midfield, not once but twice off of Hannibal. Then feeds Joao Pedro back to Cole Palmer. Palmer inside the box, has the ball taken off him. Still the chances there though. Joao Pedro lays it off. Pedro Neto brought down inside the box. Referee says no foul. Pedro Neto not happy. Here still come Chelsea. It's Cole Palmer inside the penalty area, challenged by Joe Worrell. And will Burnley get it clear? No, they're trying to dribble it outside their own penalty area. It's terrible from Burnley, and the chance is still there. Here comes Malo Gusto driving towards the penalty area. Everybody is stopped seemingly, barring Malo Gusto, who will then just knock it to Pedro Neto. What on earth happened there? Here comes Pedro Neto down the left-hand side. Ball into the box. He's put out a play for a corner. What an odd passage of play that was. Pedro Neto had a great chance. Fill the contact inside the penalty area. Hit the deck. I don't really blame him, but it's never a penalty. No. It's soft from Pedro Neto. Then Malo Gusto got the ball there, and everyone stopped.
Yeah, at least Pedro Neto, he goes down here looking for a penalty. It's a dive, right? Play stops, but then Pedro Neto gets back to his feet, so he's not essentially appealing for. He's gone down, and the manner of him going down, you think it's a dive, but he does get back to his feet quickly. It's a difficult one for the referee to give that. You give a yellow card there, you could have mayhem, but it was a dive for me, and letter of the law, he should have been carded. Anyway, play stopped, they carried on. Cole Palmer tried to dribble his way into the box at least twice, and then Burnley tried to dribble the way out of it. Now they're in more trouble because they got to defend a corner.
Yeah, they have. Ball chipped in towards the 6-yard box. He's headed towards goal. Appeals for a corner there. Joao Pedro again with the effort. He's nodded it towards goal, but he's missed the target completely, and it's out of play for a goal kick by the looks of things. That's a really good ball in, and that's not a bad header at all.
He gives Dubravka a nudge, and then Dubravka then slips. I mean, I don't think that would get given as a foul, actually. So, Joao Pedro's just been strong in a bit of a. He stood next to Dubravka, who then slips, and then because of that, Dubravka's in no position to save the header, which only just goes over.
Yeah, absolutely. 66 minutes on the clock in this game at Stamford Bridge. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. How it's only 1-0 to the Blues, I've got absolutely no idea. Burnley again trying to play out from the back. It's only just about worked this time because James Ward-Prowse has been fouled. Long ball sent over the top looking towards Laurent. Laurent will get there ahead of 2 in blue, but Gusto does brilliantly well to win the challenge. Then with the back heel gives the ball away. Laurent then thought he was fouled. Referee and linesman both had a good view and both said no. Now here comes Chelsea on the counter-attack. Neto, good ball over onto the far side. Palmer, terrible touch. Easy chance from Esteve. I think you're absolutely right. He doesn't look the same player, does he, Cole Palmer? I mean, a lot of people said this season, but then in recent weeks, he's been in really good form. He has, he got a hat-trick against Wolves, and he got a goal and assist against Leeds, but he looks nowhere near it at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think homesickness may be a part of it. fitness, obviously, is going to be coming. Match sharpness is going to be coming back and back the more games he plays. But it's a couple of months now, isn't it, since he's back in the team? There's a chance for Malo Gusto, and he doesn't get the cross in.
Yeah, he's won a corner though.
I think the thing is, he sets such high standards.
Yeah.
He's basically the Chelsea emblem now, isn't he? From what he did a couple of seasons back, he is the one they all look to. And I just don't think he's at that level at the moment. Maybe he'll regain it, but people will always look for excuses when he's not at that level, and the excuses currently are homesickness and fitness.
Again with Malo Gusto from that cross, by the way, trying to pull it back to Cole Palmer when João Pedro's got goal side of his man inside the 6-yard box. He has to play it across to the Brazilian. I don't know why he doesn't pull it, why he's trying to pull it back to Cole Palmer every time. Here comes a corner from Reece James. Again, it's tipped towards the near post. I've got to stop saying again because we know it's going to happen every time. Again, though, it's easily cleared by Burnley, and here they come driving down the near side. This is a good run from Marcus Edwards. Great defending, though, from Cole Palmer to take the ball away from the former Spurs Academy graduates. And Chelsea have the ball back once again. It looks as though Burnley are readying a change on the near side. I'm just trying to work out who it is from the options on the bench. In terms of the attacking options, they've got 3. They've got Jakob Brun-Larsen, Ashley Barnes and Laum Chalner. So it'll be interesting to see who it is that's coming on. It has to be one of those 3 because you can't bring on more defensive changes.
I'd bring on Brun-Larsen at this point. I think he's got that sort of directness and he's got the pace as well to trouble Chelsea. Chelsea defending with a high line, trying to keep everything inside the Burnley half. But you've got James Ward-Prowse on, who's got the ability to ping a lovely ball over the top and release somebody with pace on the flanks. And I think Brun-Larsen's got that pace.
Yeah. Totally agree. I was a really big fan of Jakob Brun-Larsen when he spent those 6 months on loan at Burnley the first time they came up, when they came up under Vincent Kompany. I thought he was really, really impressive, and he showed a lot of bright patches. He's barely been involved over this season, which has frustrated me as someone who is a pretty big fan of Scott Parker. As here comes Chelsea once again down the near side. It's Malo Gusto. Ball into the middle of the park for Caicedo. Caicedo over onto the far side for Reece James. Can't get the ball out of his feet initially, but eventually it finds its way to Fernandes. Fernandes then to Fofana. Ball forward looking for Cole Palmer. Appeals for a foul. Referee says no, play will continue. Cole Palmer straight back to his feet. And so Burnley have the ball back in midfield. Just as I say that, they give the ball away. They've been so poor in possession in the second half, Burnley. Here's Pedro Neto. Chip ball towards the back post. There's nobody there. Reece James, though, will gather just outside the penalty area. Don't know why he doesn't cross the ball in when there's 5 blue shirts inside the penalty area. Instead, the ball finds its way to Caicedo, shot towards goals, easily blocked by Joe Worrell, and it's out for a corner. We're into the final quarter of this one. Somehow we're still at 1-0 to Chelsea. It's independent Off GMT studio-based commentary, and it's Sam to take us through to full time.
Yeah, this game could still go either way, but likewise, Chelsea might score in the next minute, maybe even from this corner, and put the game to bed. But Burnley have defended really manfully, and they've not given up. They've kept battling hard for their whatever they can get today, and they're not giving up, are they? That's great for their fans to see. There's a few thousand of them who made the trip to London for this game. Now the corner's going to come in from the right-hand side. This isn't going to be Reece James to take it. Goes in near post, headed away behind for another corner at that near stick by Zian Fleming. Just wonder who he'd take off. If Brun-Larsen's coming on, the obvious change would be to bring him on maybe for one of the wing backs. Lucas Perez has only came on at half time, so it'd probably be for Laurent, but I don't know, maybe there's something else that Scott Parker could do as this corner comes in eventually, and it's headed away by Worrell. Good header to the edge of the box. Palmer tries to send it back in there. He's got a chance there on the edge of the box. He's tackled. Fleming pokes it away. Jaden Anthony tries to bring it clear. It's going to fall to Ward-Prowse, who gets it on his right foot, knocks it back to Perez. I don't think he wanted it there, Perez, but he's done really well in a tight area. And now it's played back. That's a risky ball from Ward-Prowse. Chelsea win it back, but it's a foul by João Pedro on Esteve, and a free kick to... Oh, and there's a red card! The referee has shown a red card to Fofana, and what has he done here? Well, for me, he's not involved in the action, so this is something he said to the referee.
He was yellow carded in the first half, wasn't he, Wesley Fofana? What's he done here to warrant a red card? I mean,
this is a game changer.
This is a game changer. This happens off our screen. What happens here? Does he just...
he's gone over the top. It's a possible red card on its own. And I think it is a straight red card, this, for an over-the-top tackle on Ward-Prowse. Yeah, we didn't see that. Ward-Prowse, I thought he'd given the ball away, but he was being absolutely hacked in half there by Wesley Fofana, who has got to hang his head low as he walks off. Straight red card. Oh, it says second yellow. Well,
yeah, I think
it could be a straight red card.
Yeah, I think it probably... I'm assuming the referee gave out a second yellow card, and that's why it's come up on our screens. I can understand why that's it. I think that probably is a yellow card, not a straight red. But yeah, not a good tackle at all. I've seen this far too much over the last couple of years, and I see people complain about this a lot, saying that it's really soft. Those sort of challenges are given as red cards. When in football did we start accepting that, stamping down is an acceptable way to win the football? You never ever have more of a chance of winning the ball by stamping down. So football is starting to do that. It only comes with malicious intent, and it's so poor.
Well, Burnley, I think they've just shelved that substitution for the time being. I'm going to see how this plays out. They've taken the free kick. It's played into the Chelsea penalty area, headed back, and then picked up by Sanchez, who can... well, now we're on time-wasting watch again, I think, aren't we? Because that's Chelsea... Oh, now he's taken too long again. Sanchez, is it a corner? Has he taken too long with the goal kick again?
Why are we stopping the game? This game... What's going on here?
The referee is the centre of attention once more, and the ball's been sent back to Sanchez. Oh, the referee told the goalkeeper he can't take the goal kick until... Well, hang on. But I'm confused.
I'm sorry, baffled.
You can't just stop the game for unless the referee's given offside or something that I don't know about. They've stopped the game for a substitution here, and Cole Palmer is the man sacrificed. And I've got to say, I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either.
In this situation, the number 10 is coming off. He can't believe it. His body language is,
I'll be honest, Simon. I've not seen a huge amount of Cole Palmer this season. Not helped by the fact he's spent a lot of time injured. But from what I have seen of him, that is a man who doesn't want to be in London. I genuinely don't think there is. Cole Palmer is too laid back, and he's too relaxed to almost let injuries affect him. I think he's one of those. I'm injured. I'm going to come back. I'm going to crack on. I'm going to work hard. He just looks miserable every time I see him play football. There's never a smile on his face, and you see him come up. I get the frustration. It's not his fault that he's being hooked now, but he looks like I'm done. He genuinely looks like he wants to be anywhere else but Stamford Bridge at the moment.
Well, they were given time off, weren't they? The Chelsea players this week, and he jetted out to Dubai, I believe, for a few days. He didn't spend that time off in London, but he didn't go to Manchester either. I mean, I think he probably made the right choice, but throw-in is taken by Burnley. Burnley with the extra man now, a goal down and 15 minutes to play, plus probably at least 5 minutes of stoppage time. So, I think Scott Parker, it's up to him now. We've just seen the change made by Chelsea. They've sent on Yoral Hato. Yoral Hato, the central defender stroke full-back, who's going to fill in. Oh, sorry, it was Tosin, was it? Tosin Adebayo, beg your pardon. He's come on for Cole Palmer. And so they've gone to just bring the central defender on to keep that sort of same shape in defence. And now I guess João Pedro will try and flip between playing centre forward and number 10 in this weakened formation. Ward-Prowse plays the ball out to the right hand side here for Laurent. Burnley can have a lot of the ball here. They've got to break this. It's gone from Chelsea trying to break down a Burnley low block to Burnley trying to break down a Chelsea low block just with that one red card.
Yeah, they're going to have to bring somebody like Laurent and Humphreys off and throw some more attackers on the field, go hell to the leather. At this stage of the season, losing 1-0 is not good enough. They have to start picking up points. Yeah. It will be a miracle if they stay up, but give yourselves a chance. Do you know what I mean? It was a miracle when Jesus walked on water, but he was only able to do it because he took that first step. You've got to at least give yourselves a chance.
Yeah, I think Joe Worrell, although he's had a better game really since the dodgy first 20 minutes, he's a bit of a luxury at the moment. You don't need that extra defender on. You just go with Humphreys and Esteve at the back. Here's Hannibal Medjbury's cross to the back post. It's kept in. Could be a chance of a Laurent on the volley. Oh, and it's ballooned it straight into the body. And the save is made by Sanchez. But what a chance that was. They overloaded the back post. Medjbury searching ball found Anthony. Laurent peeled off, and he's got a chance. It just doesn't quite catch the left foot shot.
It takes too long, and he waits for the ball to run onto his left boot. He has to come across and hit that straight away. Where Enzo Fernandez fist bumps himself because he knows he's done a really good job defensively.
Still Burnley on the attack. Well, Laurent plays the ball into the penalty area. Edwards with a shot on the turn. He's claiming handball. Referee says nothing doing. It's blocked by Chelsea, and they clear it away. But Burnley putting some real pressure on and winning the ball back high. Laurent drives into the penalty area again, tries to fizz a cross in towards the back post. That's a poor delivery, didn't really look up, and it's going to be run away by Pedro Neto. Well, Luke, Chelsea, this is going to take some. This result's going to take some getting now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And what did I say? I said I had a feeling that if they didn't put those chances away, it was going to come back to bite them. It hasn't just yet, but I do think if Scott Parker makes the right changes and brings the right players on, that, Burnley can have a real go at this. They just need some players in the box that can find the finish. Get Chalner on, get Brun Larson on, get someone who's a bit more comfortable in front of goal.
Is a
Ashley Barnes as well.
Yeah,
just get somebody who the ball falls to like it did for Laurent. They're happy swinging at it.
Cross comes in. Oh, it's a poor ball. And in fact, the Burnley players ended up in the front row. The Chelsea fans have actually broken his fall there. It's Lucas Pires who's been helped back to his feet. He's actually saying thanks to the Chelsea fans there for helping him back onto the pitch. But here's the change. And indeed, it is going to be Jakob Brun Larson on for Laurent, which was the change we called about 10 minutes ago. I mean, I don't blame Scott Parker for just delaying and seeing how things worked out after the red card. He probably wanted to see what change Rosigne made. He's seen that and he's gone with the same substitution anyway.
Yeah, sensible. I really like this change. I think this change probably could have been made before the red card. Like you said, I understand why he didn't wait, but ultimately he may be thinking, I was going to make the change anyway. I probably should have done it straight away because nothing's really changed. But yeah, no, I love that change from Scott Parker. I will say as well, I love that as well. Lucas Pires going over, not quite Gabriel Agbonhor at Anfield, where with the fan getting his camera out to take a picture. Good to see that the Chelsea fans broke his fall. That was quite impressive. For the Brazilian.
Brun Larson, a substitute, plays it inside to Edwards. Edwards about 25 yards, it goes for goal with his left foot, and he'll regret that because it was an awful effort. He went with the wrong club and got it all wrong, shanked it into the crowd.
Why is he shooting from there? It's one of those occasions. I don't mind players trying to force the issue and trying to get the ball moving quickly, but when you're in a position like this, keep the ball, but you allow things to break down as Ashley Barnes is going to be ready to come on. But Chelsea making a double change now. Liam Delap and Jurel Hatto are coming on.
Right.
I'm just trying to make out who it is that's coming on. I think one of them is Malo Gusto. Yes, it is. So Hatto's going to play at full-back ahead of Malo Gusto. That's a sensible change, and I'd assume João Pedro is going to go off for Liam Delap because Liam Delap can hold the ball up a little bit better, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it is going to be João Pedro.
Absolutely, yeah. Liam Delap is suited to this scenario, isn't he, holding the ball up? I mean, that's why a lot of people felt he was a strange signing for Chelsea, because his best work is done when your team's under pressure. He did well in the Premier League for Ipswich when they were, basically under a lot of pressure, and he held the ball up well. Coming to a top club like Chelsea where they're not going to be under as much pressure, certainly not against a team like Burnley. But anyway, he comes on here with 10 men, and this is the ideal scenario for Liam Delap.
Chelsea have got a really, really bad habit of signing strikers and asking them to do the wrong thing, don't they? They did it with Romelu Lukaku, asking him to play as a target man. Everyone knows the weakest part of Lukaku's game is his first touch, and so asking him to be a target man is a waste of time. It's the same way with Liam Delap. I think a lot of what they ask him to do is to link up with the midfield and play with the ball on the floor. No, play the ball in behind him, play the ball to him one-on-one with the centre-half, and ask him to run at people. It's so daft, and I do feel from a little bit, sometimes strikers aren't necessarily made for playing, at a top club. That doesn't mean you're a worse striker, that just means it doesn't work.
Mistake here by Chelsea. Edwards now takes on Hatto. On the outside, he's inside the penalty area. Edwards low ball in, almost found a way through to Brun Larson. Stretching challenge from Adebayo is just in time, and Andre Santos brings it away. I don't know how Andre Santos stayed on the pitch with all these substitutions. He's now gone down claiming a free kick in front of the dugouts, and the referee is going to award that free kick. I think he's played up to the Chelsea appeals there, to be honest.
Yeah, he has. He's right in front of his dugout when he knows that he's made a bit of an error there. So he's going to get a bit of a telling off from his manager for trying to run that out. It's so soft.
He's put his arm across him, but it's soft, isn't it? It's very soft.
The whole time he's going down, he's looking towards the referee. You can see it. He looks towards his manager, and then he's looking to his referee. We're going to see a replay now, that intervention from Trevor Chalobah. That is game-saving, because Brun Larson scores from there.
Yeah, you're right. It was Chalobah, not Tosin, as I said at the time, but it was fantastic. He's been Chelsea's best player today, Chalobah, potentially. He's it's crazy, isn't it? Because the game they should be dominating, and we're saying that one of the centre-backs has been the best player. But yeah, it's just been a very strange performance from the Blues today. Missing chances, long ball forward from the back, seeking out the runner. I said that could be a foul, and if it is he a last man? Well, Zian Fleming thinks that is a foul on him, and he was through on goal, wasn't he?
I mean,
the referee's given nothing.
He was, yes. It mustn't have not been a foul. It was one of those. I thought it was 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. A break off. That's great from Pedro Neto.
Yeah, Pedro Neto dribbles past Lucas Pires. Now faces up to Esteve. He's gone past Esteve as well. He's inside penalty. He puts a low ball in towards Delap, and it's scraped away by a Burnley defender, and then a follow-up shot well wide from Hato.
Why does he not just control that with his left boot? He's got so much time and space. He's just got to control it. This is interesting. Oh no, I thought he was going to pause for a VAR check there. The referee's just going to allow the substitution. I mean, he is a bit soft from Zian Fleming, but the contact is there from Tosin. He just panics, doesn't he? The Chelsea centre half. I think the benefit that he has is Fleming never really gets goal side of him. They're always running alongside each other. But double change now being made. It's the other two attacking changes that Scott Parker could make.
Yep.
I said Bashir Humphries would come off at some point. He has done. Off he comes for Ashley Barnes. And Laum Chalmers also going to come on as well. And it's Jaden Anthony who's going to come off again. A change I would have made as well. I like these changes from Scott Parker.
Yeah, I think they're going aerial now, aren't they? Before they were looking to get out wide. He's taken off a couple of... Well, he's taken off certainly Anthony being a wide player, and I think now that the plan is to go early and long up to Barnes. Fleming's on as well. Pick up the scraps, keep the play congested around the edge of the Chelsea box, prey on mistakes. So it's a complete tactical shift here from Burnley with these changes. Let's see what they do. Ward-Prowse, who's key, I'm sure, to their plans with his quality on the ball, knocks it wide to the right for Chalmer. Chalmer's going to take his man on the outside, so there is a bit of width there from Chalmer. The challenge comes in from Hato. It's a good one-on-one defending from him. Knocks it out for a throw.
I don't think when Ashley Barnes signed for Burnley last January, he'd have been thinking he'd be coming on at Stamford Bridge to try and salvage a point against 10-man Chelsea. It's quite funny how people's careers end up panning out.
I think he scored in a 2-2 opening day draw at Stamford Bridge for Burnley a few years ago. That was when Sean Dyche was in charge.
That was a while ago, at this point. I think that was the year that Burnley first came up under Sean Dyche.
Ball to the back post. Barnes is challenging for it, but he can't keep the header in play. In fact, he was offside anyway. And the flag goes up. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. And that's the way it will stay unless Burnley can create something in these closing moments. We just seen an earlier cross from Brun Larsen, palmed away rather awkwardly by Robert Sanchez. He just sort of came out and shoveled it like volleyball style out there.
To be fair, as long as it's away from danger, Liam Rossini won't mind too much. But that's Rob Sanchez for you, though, isn't it? It's never. And nothing he ever does is convincing. You never watch Robert Sanchez and you calm. You know, when Man City had Ederson in goal, and when Liverpool have got Alisson in goal, there is a sense of calmness about their goal. There never has been with Robert Sanchez.
Ball swept up at the back by Brun Larsen. Now he's been forced onto the back foot, so he's playing like right wing back. The rain is coming down now in southwest London, West London really, as Chelsea prepare to take a throw in. So Brun Larsen's clearance goes out for throwing. Chelsea wasting time here down by the corner flag before the throw in comes in from Hato towards Delap. Delap tries to get a cross in. It's nobody in there for Chelsea, so it's a poor decision. And now Mejbri brings it away. The Tunisian plays it out to the left for Lucas Pires. Chelsea backing off here, trying to get their positions in midfield. Now Ward-Prowse out to Edwards. Barnes is up front, as is Fleming, the two target men, trying to split now and create some danger. Mejbri sends it wide left-hand side to Lucas Pires. Now an underlapping run from Esteve, and he's won a corner, I think. Yes, he has. And he now trots into the penalty area. This is going to be their best chance, I think. Set pieces, crosses into the box. And I haven't seen a replay of that shove in the back on Zian Fleming.
Goal side. On that angle, it looks like he does get goal side.
He shoves it over, doesn't he? It's a foul. The question is it a red card foul? Here's the cross into the penalty area, headed up in the air by Esteve, and it should be claimed by Sanchez, and it is claimed by Sanchez from that short corner routine. He's kicked it long. Wastefully long, though, because there's nobody up there apart from Neto, and he's had no chance of reaching that, so the ball's going to come straight back I mean, Sanchez. I mean, probably Rosenior's going nuts there because Sanchez has got to hold on to the ball and just play it out simply, hasn't he?
He's scarred from earlier on in the game, isn't he? When he gave that corner away, he's like, I can't hang on to it for 8 seconds. But you're absolutely right. He's got to use all those 8 seconds and then pump it long. Allow Liam Delap to get up there.
Edwards wins a foul, edge of the penalty
poor.
Area from Fernandez's lunge. And now this is a great opportunity. I've said that a few times now, but this really is a good opportunity from a set piece for Burnley.
That's so lazy from Enzo Fernandez. He's going nowhere there, Marcus Edwards. Delap is across covering, and he just panics and sticks a leg out because he doesn't want to keep chasing in case he gets past Delap. Really, really poor for the midfielder. Chelsea now, though, are very much backs against the wall. Mamadou Sarr and Josh Achiampong are coming on. They're playing with, now, I'm just trying to work this out, Reece James, Trevor Chalobah, Tosinado Abayo, Jarell Hatto, and they're also going to bring on Sarr and Achiampong. It's 6 defenders. Having said that, Reece James is going off, so it's still 5.
Yeah.
But it's 5, and then Caicedo dropping in as well, and Andre Santos basically playing as a centre-half too. This is panic stations for Chelsea.
Yeah, they're clinging on, aren't they? I think if it works, then Leroy Rosenior has done the right thing. He's done the right things, just reacting to the changes that Burnley have made. There's going to be an aerial bombardment now, and you need big, aerial presences in your own penalty area, which is what he's done there by bringing these 2 on. So Sarr and Achiampong. Sarr been very impressed with what I've seen from him since he made the switch in January. Achiampong, very highly thought of around Chelsea. I've never quite got it yet, but he's still very young. So here's the free kick, and you wouldn't want anybody else apart from James Ward-Prowse over the ball here with his quality. 88 minutes on the clock. What can Burnley produce here? They've got Barnes lurking at the back post. In comes the ball from... Oh, it's headed over the bar from Barnes. He picks out the right man. Barnes' header over the bar, and he's offside anyway. Yeah,
he's offside anyway, so it wouldn't have counted, but it's a really good ball in from James Ward-Prowse. Burnley, though, have got to take these chances. They've got to make sure they're onside.
He's pushed offside, isn't he?
He's not even offside as well, because Caicedo comes back too early and plays him on. He's got to get that on target, though, has Ashley Barnes to try and test Robert Sanchez. I'm intrigued. I've just thought of this. He's taken off Reece James. I probably wouldn't have taken off Reece James. I wouldn't have taken off my captain, who was also very, very good from dead ball, so he's going to be good enough at just getting the ball away. I wouldn't have taken off Reece James. I think that's maybe a mistake from Liam Rosenior.
Burnley are complaining here because Chelsea are wasting more time here over the restart. They're claiming a foul. Somebody's injured or something. Somebody's lying down, and they're just wasting more time. Rosenior is very frustrated. Finally, the player's back to his feet, and Chelsea are ready to take this free kick rather, by Sanchez. Aims it towards Delap. Headed down, picked up by Barnes. Pumped forward by Ward-Prowse. Headed clear by Sarr. It's going to be collected by Fernandez. Fernandez goes down looking for a free kick and wins that free kick from Ward-Prowse. And now there's trouble because Medjbry's got involved, and the referee's pushed him away, or the referee's got between the players to. And now Chelsea are just doing everything they can to waste time here, throwing the ball away, frustrating the Burnley players.
I didn't think in the space of less than a week we'd see Chelsea and Arsenal who are top of the table, and Chelsea who are 5th, about to be 4th, time waste against 20th place Wolves and 19th place Burnley. It's damning indictment of where we are, I think, in the Premier League at the moment.
I don't know. I think what it tells you is that the bottom teams in the Premier League are, on the day, they can beat anybody.
But I also think as well that actually in years gone by we would have seen teams like Manchester City, like Liverpool, like Manchester United blow these teams out the water. But we've now got teams, Arsenal don't look capable of beating bottom of the table, and people will argue that's great for competition, but Wolves have won 1 game all season. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that competitive because they can't pick up 3 points.
I think it's great the Premier League is competitive and there isn't one team running away with it, so to speak. But then look at how the teams are doing in the Champions League. They are running away with the Champions League. They're battering teams 5 and 6-0. And look at Newcastle, who are about 12th or something in the Premier League, aren't they? It's just the standard in the Premier League has never been higher for me. It's just that because that standard has dropped down to the lower teams, that there's no one team running away with it.
That's the debate at the minute, isn't it? As Robert Sanchez has picked up a yellow card, I'm assuming for time wasting earlier on. But that's the debate, though, isn't it? Is the Premier League the highest quality it's ever been, or is it the lowest it's ever been? Because you look at the top end, top end of the table and this and the other. I'll break off because here come Burnley.
Yeah, Brun Larsen, great challenge comes in by Andre Santos, who's celebrating with the crowd that challenge. He's conceded a corner, but Chelsea being stretched there because Brun Larsen made a good run and Santos had to come across and cover it. So we're into that 6 minutes of stoppage time. I think 6 minutes is a fair reflection of how much needed to be added on by the referee. It's whether Burnley can take advantage. Surely it's only Burnley that can score now in these extra minutes. Ward-Prowse with a corner. In it goes towards the centre of goal. Heading towards goal, it's in the back of the net. And Burnley have equalised. It's come from Zian Fleming, I think. Zian Fleming at the near post has headed it home. Simple corner routine, and Chelsea have been caught.
He has been involved all afternoon, has Zian Fleming, whether it's creating chances, getting on the end of chances, or just winding up a player in blue. He's been fantastic as Zian Fleming, and when you've got a player who is so good at moving around the penalty area, in the box, with a player so good at set pieces like James Ward-Prowse is, delivering the ball into the penalty area, you're always going to get chances. Delight for Burnley. Do you know what? Last 10 minutes, they've deserved that. I have said this afternoon that if Chelsea do not take their chance and they do not get the ball to the back in there, they will be punished. And rightly so, they have been punished. Brilliant from Burnley to get themselves back into it. It's a great ball in from Ward-Prowse, and what a header that is from Zian Fleming. It's into the ground as you're told as a youngster to do. He's completely unmarked. Yeah. I mean, Chelsea are a mess. There will be questions as to Chelsea after this afternoon, but take nothing away from Burnley, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's zonal marking, and it's been exploited by some fantastic movement from Burnley on that corner. The delivery was brilliant from Ward-Prowse. The movement from Esteve to drag defenders away to create the space for Fleming, who came in, had the run on the defender. I think it's Hatto or maybe Tosin, who's just a bit late, coming out from his station to come out there, and Fleming beats him, and then the header is perfect into the corner, giving Sanchez no chance. They've deserved it. Burnley have deserved this equalising goal, as now they get a free kick, and the Chelsea players are losing their rags all the time here with this referee. No doubt Chelsea will be complaining about the referee at the end of the game, but for me, they've lost their discipline in this game, and they've got themselves to look at, not the referee.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I thought that was a foul on Charlotte. I don't begrudge them for being annoyed at the referee on that occasion, because he's taken far too long to blow the whistle, and he's blown a whistle because of the reaction of the plays. But it was a foul on Trauner because he's caught from behind, and it is a waft of the arm. That's not a natural running motion, and he's not holding the man off, so it's the right decision. Hatto was booked, by the way, and I don't know whether that's for the foul or whether it's because he argued with the referee, but the referee got it right. And you know what? Chelsea can complain about the referee as much as they want, but at the end of the day, it was right to give the red card to Wesley Fofana. Fofana knows that as well. It's just come up on the screen that Josh Laurent's been yellow carded. I'd be intrigued to know what that was for, given he's off the pitch.
Here's a chance for Burnley in the penalty area. So Edwards onto his right foot, shoots, and it's blocked by Chelsea behind for, I think, another corner, although the way that the players are setting up it might not be a corner, but they're just cutting through Chelsea here. That's great work on the left. Ball into Edwards, who has space for the shot, and it's but for a brilliant challenge there. I think it may be Sarr, or anyway, it has gone for a corner. So here we go. Burnley have another chance to score from a set piece in the last minute of stoppage time. The Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge must be absolutely having kittens at the moment. The Burnley fans at the other end will be roaring on their team here. Can they produce a fantastic winner at Stamford Bridge? Now, there's trouble at the back post for Ashley Barnes, who's jostling with Fernandes. In comes the corner from Ward-Prowse. He's heading towards goal. It's over the bar from Esteve.
Yeah, big opportunity there for Maxime Esteve, and he's nodded the ball over the crossbar. Another good ball from Ward-Prowse. Maybe not as deep as he would have liked.
It wasn't Esteve, it was Brun Larsen. Esteve was just in front of him, but then he leaves it for Brun Larsen coming from behind, and he put it over.
Yeah, he did. That's a big opportunity. Again, it's a free header. We talk about zonal marking. I hate zonal marking. I think it's rubbish, but every team does it, so there's clearly some benefit to it. But some teams do it well. Chelsea have not done it well. They really haven't, because it's all well and good marking zonally, but you have to mark the zones that are going to be a danger, and they're just all standing in the 6-yard box thinking that Burnley are going to do what Reece James does every time.
Well, Chelsea still got a chance to nick a win here, because we're playing time added on from the minimum 6 as the ball's played to the back post. He might drop into Delap on a volley, and he smashes it over the bar. Liam Delap, name went up in lights then. He could have really made himself a hero at Stamford Bridge, but he's blazed it over. Yeah. And there's the final whistle. It's all over. Chelsea have been held, if you like. In the end, really, it's Chelsea holding Burnley to a point. 10-man Chelsea, unable to get the job done. It's finished Chelsea 1, Burnley 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity